Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Tone Talk with Mark Uzansky and Dave Friedman. Dave, how's it going?
It's long week. 2
Hey,
weeks.
what's up, everybody?
Week and a half.
Tone Talk with look at me. I'm the one who did it. Friedman. I'm the one who did it. God,
Mark's the one that messed up.
I tell you, man.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Wade, how are you? Tonight's guest is Wade Westbrook from Motor City Pickups. Dude, how are you?
Great, Mark. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah,
real honor. Appreciate it. So, thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. How's your Friday? How was your week?
Busy as usual. I always got guys sweating me. Where's my pickup? When's it coming? And when can I get? So, but yeah, it's been pretty busy. It's steady. So just keep plugging away, making pickups every single day. Almost every single day.
Yeah, Dave wants his third degree black belts, right? Is that what you said?
Yes, that's what I said. I just saw Jimmy Burkhart had them. I'm like, I haven't heard those yet.
Yeah, Jimmy was tearing them up for a hot minute on Instagram, so I was real happy to see that. And yeah, he's just been a real big fan. It was kind of weird because I never, you know me, how I am with he's been telling me for a couple of years, oh man, I've been putting stuff out, hashtagging you whenever you get up there, man, just look me up. I was, all right. So he's been real cool to me. I like Jimmy a lot. So.
Yeah, Jimmy's a good dude. He's a good guy. He probably knows about the pickups from me.
Probably. He's been using the second degrees forever. So
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
My
My big push on the second degrees that catapulted you to fame. Oh wait, that wasn't the first one. No, the other one.
No, yeah, that was the second bounce.
Wait, that was the first one was the wait, what do we call blister bucker?
That's right. Yes, that's right. That one I stopped making for a while.
With the Alnico 2 magnet.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Why did you stop making it?
I couldn't make them fast enough. It was they were raging at the door, man, just pounding it down. Oh my god!
I opened up my mouth online and it went like gang fire. And he's like, "What the fuck do you do to me?"
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely for the time. That was almost a decade ago, though.
Was it now?
Sure.
Shit.
Yeah, right back at.
No, it was. That was at my old shop when I first got that. Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah.
So where'd you share it on the gear page?
Oh hell, I don't remember. Forums. I don't. Yeah, probably at the time forums. So more so, huge racks or rig talk or not the gear page. I didn't post that much in the gear page ever. So probably those two at the time. And then went gangbusters.
It did for a hot second, man. It was cool.
You know, that pickup's still sitting in my box here. The really? Original one that you made me. I still have it.
Really? Keep it, man, because that's the beauty of them.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what guitar to put it in. I've been like,
you should have plenty now.
Yeah, I have plenty now, so that shouldn't be a problem. The problem with having a lot of pickups is the fact that you might not have enough guitars to put them in.
Well, I you know me, man. I am a creature of habit. You know what I use. You know, I just, man. And my buddies tell me the same thing. Man, get some new stuff, dude. Get some new stuff, man. I'm working with my same 74 custom, my 76 custom.
Yeah, but why?
The GML.
Why would you get new stuff?
Strats, you know, just the classic instruments that most people can obtain. Right. You know what I mean? So it makes perfect sense to use these things. Most of this stuff back here, same thing. You know, I mean, stock Marshall, you know, Friedman, Metropolis, and remade 800 from Rosa. very standard stuff though, so I try to stay in that pocket. Same thing with like cables and stuff. You try them all, but you really try to get a vocabulary to speak to the customer about what they're using, whether they're, they might be using, monster cables, or there's so many different ones, solid cables, Mogambi Gold, Belden, the sky's the limit. But for the most part, and I'm an awkward duck, I like weird things. So I did find some cables that were extremely dark, and I love them. They're called Solid Gold. Joe Naylor, a little homeboy from Detroit there. He started that company and sold that out or something. It was a while ago. I think he had sold the company to some other guys. Or is it Armored Gold? I think it's Armored Gold.
Is there a particular cable you guys recommend? But, I don't think we ever discussed that before.
I have my favorite.
But they're dark. They're a dark cable, and they're high capacitance. They're reading up into like 650, dude.
Wow.
So yeah, most of your like Mogambi stuff like that, they're going to read between like 180, 280. That's a considerably brighter cable.
I use my favorite cable for years was Belden 9778, which was the old industry standard from the 70s. And it's still around, still my favorite. It's got this cool mid-range bark, and it's not too bright, and just got this cool growl, especially for distorted stuff.
Where do you find that cable?
You have to buy it raw, and you have to make your own. No one currently is making a cable, I think, with that cable. I could be wrong.
I think you got to buy I think you got to buy the whole roll, though.
No, you don't. You can find, I think, you for a minute you did.
Okay.
They used to sell it years ago. I used to buy it. Belden used to sell it in two different rolls. They used to sell it in 500-foot roll and 1,000-foot roll. And I'd always buy the 500, but they discontinued the 500-foot roll. So now your only choice is to buy 1,000 feet if you got to buy it by the roll. Well, I think like a couple other companies now are selling it by the foot. Like I think Full Compass, I think, has it by the foot or something, and someone else. I found it by the foot.
Still a small fortune too,
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's I mean, even the 1,000-foot at 1,000-foot quantity, it's 75 cents a foot, which is actually kind of expensive for 1,000 feet.
But it's a nice cable. So
it's great.
Yeah.
Well, besides that, like what would you recommend, Dave, that people can actually buy?
Yeah. I don't know if I have a recommendation. you know what I used to like, but it's changed now. I used to like, but the company is now owned by a different company. I used to like standard old Proco cables, the standard blue, heat shrunk end, standard everyday music store cables that were, I know through the 80s when I was growing up and into the 90s, that was pretty standard at most stores. I used to love those. Those sounded great. I'm not a big fan of, just standard, what do they call pro music mover? Yeah, but now Proco was bought out by Rapco Horizon. So now all the cable companies are like kind of incestuous, and they're all in this one big. And Lava Cable also is merged with Rapco and Horizon. So like they're all one company now. So
really,
yeah.
And Lava Cable's like a high end.
Yeah, I mean, your Mogami cable's not a horrible cable. Not my favorite, but not. I mean, it works. It's fine.
Well, friends don't let friends buy Hosa.
Yes.
That's
and no Hosa cable. Not a huge fan of Monster cable. There's some other European brands that are okay. I don't know. I just make my own. I don't know.
Oh, that's good.
Eventually, there's be Friedman cables. How's that?
That would be cool. man.
That would be good.
Cool.
High end ones though, like with like the nylon meshing that are really heavy duty for stage and that don't get tangled up real easy, and you know, like good stuff.
Yep. We have a good friend who actually is making cables.
Oh yes, Vinny.
Yeah, Vincent.
Vinny has not sent me a cable.
Did you see that?
I didn't see that. What are you holding up? I saw
that
something.
Nylon mesh.
Yeah, the typical stuff. I use it for like snakes and stuff and all that.
Yes.
And you get this really thin stuff and you lace it. There it is. Yes, Vinny. Vinny, I can see you're in the chat. I've never gotten a cable from you. Can I try one?
You should.
Yeah.
Send one out to Dave. I told him. I like his cable. It's very cool. And it doesn't tangle.
Yeah, it's the same. I think he's using the same kind of mesh I'm talking about. I saw.
Yeah.
And then ideally, I would use nitric ends.
What about those GNL? Those other ones
G&H?
that are. Yeah, that's it. Those are pretty nice too.
Those are pretty nice. The nitric has a one-piece tip.
Yeah.
G&H might. Now I can't remember. But the one-piece tip is really nice because they don't ever twist.
They had that when them cables started, and then they changed up. I walked away from that, and I was kind of bummed out. So
yeah, I mean,
great cable.
Higher end Amphenol ends are nice too, and the lower end actually, but for a guitar cable, the higher end.
Ultimately, though, remember that stuff will soak up your current. That's a great way to soak up a little bit of annoying top end from a pickup. Also, you know, think about Hendrix and a lot of the guys with the curly Q cable.
Absolutely, and you know, you think Hendrix is a curly Q cable.
Curly Q, man.
Curly Q, yep, fine. Some curly fry cable, and non-true bypass wah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, all his high end was soaked up by the time it hit his amp, and what that does is it changes the capacitance that the guitar is seeing, and it's kind of like rolling your tone knob off, sort of. But it also kind of emphasizes these upper mid-range a bit. Mm-hmm. So not only does it just roll off high end, it kind of emphasizes, depending on what you're running through, this kind of upper end, mid-rangey kind of tone. Kind of like wah cocked on slight sound.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about George L's?
You know, cable? I like George L cable actually.
Super clear.
It's clear. It's very smooth sounding though, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of bass. Really, the nice thing is very smooth sounding, which is cool. It's not like fuzzy or overly compressed or anything. Kind of cool.
Yeah,
I had a phase where I really liked that cable for a while.
We all had a phase with George L, man.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing you talk about
that was like the whole cable you could go the thing. I take 20.
Well, you know, the funny thing you talk about the ends on the cable. There was a time when I actually tested the sound of the ends. Now most people are like, it doesn't make any difference. Well, guess what? It does.
The gold, even the plating.
Well, not so much the plating, because it's kind of counterproductive when you have something that's not plated on the other end. But the sound, the ends have a slight sound. So like I remember testing like Chinese knockoff Switchcraft versus Neutrik, because at the time that were the three that you could use.
Right.
And for a guitar cable, hands down, the Neutrik won. Followed. Yeah, well, I mean, the Switchcraft and the other were kind of neck and neck, but there was a noticeable difference in the Neutrik ends. Not going to use it for everything, but you know, for a guitar cable, and they're durable, so really durable.
Yeah, no,
There was a time in my life where we shot out everything. Like there was like this fact-finding mission time in my life where literally I listened to everything. Yeah. And like with such anal retentive detail, it was crazy. And there was a bunch of us that did it together, and it was like, so I learned a lot of stuff back then, but since then I've kind of just like, now I just file it in my head and I know it, and I use some of that stuff still, but you know.
It can be depressing too at times because, you know, you have hopes for, you know, your best piece, your most expensive, and it comes out sounding the worst.
Yeah, all right.
I'm not, look, we did a simple test with a capacitors in the guitar with an original 73 Bumblebee. Everybody loved that cap. The next best thing that sounded the closest, and you know what? That those clips, tape doesn't lie. Polypropylene 90-cent cap was the next best cap that sounded the best, next to an original 73 Bumblebee. Polypropylene 600 volt, 90 cents. I was bummed out completely, but it sounds good. So you know, I think technologies came a long way too, with like a lot of the tolerances and more. It's just coming along, man. You know, we're not in 50s anymore. So
well, let's not even talk. Let's not even talk. God, I mean, we can go crazy with this stuff.
What, with the Bumblebee caps and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then different brands of potentiometers sound different.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah.
So
I heard Dunlop's coming out with some pots.
Oh God.
New ones. Did you see that?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about pots and guitars that I found. So, and I don't know what it is, and Wade maybe can explain it, but I don't like any compensation on the volume knob on a guitar because I think it ruins the taper of the whole pot. It just, you have a very small swing then if you put like a compensating cap and resistor or cap or whatever you're doing. Some of the first pickups I ever tried that didn't really like need brightening up when you rolled the volume off was his.
Oh yeah.
You just roll the volume down and it's still plenty bright and fine. You do the same thing with the Duncan, it's dark as hell. You do the same thing with, you know, like even Gibsons and stuff, it gets dark. There's something in your pickups that don't do it. So hence, with his pickups,
I'm just teasing.
It has to be something with the capacitance of the pickup or inductance.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot to do with that too, you know,
and the reaction with the volume knob.
Yeah.
So,
well, I like a smooth taper too. I don't like it to, you know, if you're going to roll it back, I don't like it to give right away. A lot of pickups sometimes, so, you know, you'll lose your volume immediately and you'll still have 7 numbers to go through, you know, so.
Well, it's the opposite, and it's the opposite.
That, you know,
and it's the opposite if you put compensation on the pot. It doesn't do anything, In the last quarter, it does everything.
Right.
Which I hate. I want it to do it kind of linearly. So, you know, it's like you turn it to 8 or 7, it's okay. Yeah, it's already done a little something. Turn it to 5, it's done about, you know, theoretically about half of what, you know.
Right. Yeah.
You turn it lower, it gets cleaner, you know.
I like the bark and the brightness, and I always have, and I always felt that when you roll it back, and if it didn't have a lot of bite, that you needed to go back, and a lot of that comes from working with single coil pickups, man. Really, you know, I probably around here is probably more known for single coil stuff and around Detroit per se. You know, I used to do Telecaster stuff and guys would go nuts and I would never hear from them. And they would be like the nicest dudes. And then you wouldn't hear from them. And 10 years later, I would I've been looking for you. Can you make me a telly? And it was like, wow, dude, you thought about calling me once? You know, you know how life is.
I got my one telly.
Just the pickups, man.
I have my one telly that has the one telly pickup you made for me in the bridge, which was kind of a vintagey style one. I forgot the heat of it. It's not that hot, but it's got good bark to it. Man, that guitar, I love that guitar. I never change that. Never would touch that pickup ever. Ever.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to drop. So
his internet keeps going out.
Yep. Wait, drop what? You kind of cut out for a minute.
You cut out there.
Oh, I said I was going to be dropping some of my Telecaster stuff soon. So I know I've been harboring that for years and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's time to release that. You know, so
I have an antique. I have a Fender Antigua telly that's waiting for some.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't tell me that. That's a great color too.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's hideous.
Oh, you don't like it?
No,
it's from the 70s, right?
No. I love that color, but it's hideous.
Yeah,
but I like it because it's hideous.
It's definitely a unique color, that's for sure.
I just a reissue one. I got it from Marty Wade.
Oh, okay.
I traded him a guitar for it that I had. And I just saw it in his shop one day. I was there, and it was like, I know it's a Mexican Antigua reissue telly, but I'm like, picked it up and played it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. This would be nice as soon as my guitar guy gets at it, you know. And I got it, and I'm like, yeah,
that's cool.
Marty's the guy out in
Motor City Guitar.
Yeah, that ours, yeah. And that's funny you bring him up because I went out there probably, I don't know, probably around Christmas time or something. You know, it's busy. And Marty's there. We're looking around. And I was talking to Rob on the way out there, telling him, I never score anything. Awesome. And everybody else gets something from him. Awesome. I got buddies that have awesome 70s Strats that Marty came off of. He's got a huge collection of stuff too. So
I know that he hides.
Yeah, he does. He does. And he's got the good stuff. So I just go in there with the hopes that he's got something awesome on the floor, right? Roll up in there, man. Sure enough, he's got this Marshall cabinet sitting there. I'm like, wow, let me check that out. You know, so we're playing it, and the sound guy or the sales guys, you know, they're on the other side and they're rocking out the Dr. Z. Marty's got all kinds of stuff. And I thought it was marked wrong. And Marty had it marked for like $580. So I just rolled it up there and smiled. And he said, that's marked wrong. And I said,
are you going to honor it or what?
It was on consignment, but it was a great steal. It turned out to be the speakers are 79, 65 vintage speakers.
Oh, those are good.
Yes, absolutely good. And the cabinet is a January, not bad for, $600 out the door.
I just got a cab.
And that's a floor deal, so shop at Motor City.
Yeah, shop at Motor City for sure. Absolutely. I just got a cab that someone else found it at a garage sale. We just did like an early 80s 800 cab, but it had 65 watt, the old 65 watt Celestians in it. And it was an 8 ohm cabinet, which is, I think, a Canadian cabinet.
That's unusual.
So I'm like, he's like, yeah, I got it. And I got it for $150.
Wow.
And he goes, and I took it home. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't even have room for it. I don't even know why I bought it. He's like, you want it? I'm like, yeah, I'll just give it to you. And I'm like, no. I'll pay you what you paid for. Actually, I still owe him the money, so I got to pay him.
That's funny. Have you tried it?
Oh wait, no, I don't own the money because we did some work. Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh, there you go. Hey, by the way, we've
I
got.
haven't plugged it in.
Oh, you haven't plugged it in yet.
I haven't even plugged it in yet.
We have 109 watching right now, and thanks everybody for watching.
That's it.
That's it.
Tell your friends, people.
Yeah, spread
Tell
the
your
word.
friends.
Thumbs up, by the way, and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. So, Wade, I've heard about your pickups for a while, but I'm not as familiar with the line as I should, and maybe there's others out there that feel the same way I do. So, could you take us through, your different pickups?
Oh, shit. That's a lot.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, it could be a long list. I could go through the more public pickups, I suppose. So.
Oh yeah, take us through what the ones that you think are the highlights.
You want to hear?
Are we losing again?
Like the Afueyu humbucker.
That's great.
That's right around 16K, 16.2. It's real chewy, real aggressive, and it's tight. It's not meant to play nice, and it doesn't. It's got a nice top end, aggressive upper structure, I call it, upper mids, very aggressive mids, very harmonic as well, and the low end is very vocal. So if you love doing octave runs and things like that on your low strings, you're going to love this pickup. That's going to be your money right there. Simple plain enamel coil wire, very modern structure with this type of wire that I have. It's very tolerant tight, so there's not really any fluctuation within the coil. We kind of stepped away from that, coming back from just wires getting made now as opposed to older machinery. They still use some of the older stuff too, but when you use plain enamel, it's a baked on type of it's a linseed actually baked on, where some of the other enamels are plastic, nylon, polycarbonate, things like that. Those plastics, sometimes they can crack. Same with plain enamel. Plain enamel can dry out on you too. That's some of the failures with some of these pickups when you use different wires and things like that. And even under a fine microscope, when you look around on the corners of your bobbins and things like that, you'll notice that you'll have cracks in the wire and the insulation itself. So what you need to do is let that coil sit for a little bit, let that rest. And when I say let it rest, wind it, set it aside and forget about it and go on with the next guy. So at any given time, I might have 30, 40, 50, 60 coils ready to go with your name on it. But I'm not going to get it finished until another 2 or 3 weeks. It's just the process that I go through, but it's everything bulletproof for me also as a designer, because I'm not letting anything slip out that isn't, that doesn't read good. And that time that you give those coils to rest is going to really show you if you have any hairline fractures or any leaks in the coil, any instability, so I might use, for instance, like AC resistance as opposed to DC resistance. You're simply testing the coil for any leaks. So if it's bouncing around and you can't get a resistance on that, then it's probably got a leak in there. So your AC resistance and your DC resistance should read almost the same. So if the coil reads 4K, your AC resistance is going to read 3.998, very, very close. But if you read that AC and it's going 420, 428, jumping down to 390, you got a short. Don't let that go. So that's a lot to do with it too, and just giving the coils time. like I say, I'm in no hurry. I used to be. Dave, where you at? I used to be in a hurry. You know, everybody, you know, sometimes you get stressed out. You got 40, 60 guys waiting, and, you know, 100, 200 emails in your inbox, you know. But at some point you can only get so much done. And I do every single pickup from start to finish myself. I do all my emails. I do all my shipping. I even do all my crappy boxing. I promise. But,
believe me, he does. I've seen it.
Yes. Yeah.
I've been in that room.
Yeah. But what happens is that I have a great product and something that, like I said, man, you see a lot of these companies, they grow a lot of, hey, everybody does, but you know, I haven't found anybody that I work with that's anyway. I'm a mean boss, man. I have to have it a specific way, and if you don't do it right, can't do it. Patience are short too, so I'm still looking for the right guy. I might take my road show. I might take this show on the road. I'd like to take it out to NAMM, maybe come out there and pop off on the corner of Dave's spot and, you know, zip off a few coils, do something. I don't know, but I would ultimately have to have another guy there that knows how to assemble and things like that, because it's a daunting task. And a lot of times, just because you wound the coil doesn't mean that it's going to perform the way that you expected or even to hit numbers. So a lot to go into this too. You got to remember, you know, when you put a pickup in, I mean, it's not a plug and play. I guess some pickups are. Some toys are plug and play now, but you know, the real deal, you got to solder them in. It's not a pedal. It's not an amp. You know, it doesn't show up and you just get to plug in and rip away. So there's a little bit of work involved. You end up setting up your instrument. But when everything's done, I'm hitting money with a lot of people, so I know the product really, really well, and you know what works and what doesn't, and
cool.
So far, so good, man. So anyhow, back to the Fuego, yeah, and that takes an Alnico 5 magnet, very standard stuff with that pickup in regards to. There's no schemes with it. It's just a very well-built pickup, and I put a lot of emphasis on extra. So, you know, when you get into machine winding, things like that, some of the older PAFs and stuff, what they do, man. That's it. And they do it very, very precisely. You know, so a lot of times, you know, when you got winders today have servo motors, so you can set this up and then slow down whatever your heart's desire, but you can't fluctuate this
tension,
and that's it, and that's key. So we can do this all day long, back and forth, fool with that, but if you're not messing with your tension, and your tension's going to control your output a lot, you know, the tighter, closer wind, you're going to get a little bit more gain. There you go, pickup guys. So you know, there's a lot of tricks to the trade, and it's, you know, I don't think that the cat's been skinned yet, you know, as far as, you know, it's, I mean, how many times are you going to do a TS9?
Apparently, 40,385.
Right, yeah. We're reaching the peak right there, but, you know.
But we changed the capacitor on this one.
Hey, now it's mine.
Right.
Yeah, at least some of them are just going, it's a TS9 and here's our take on it. You know, so, you know, if they're doing that, it's like, okay, there you go. Buy it or don't.
Right. I mean, I appreciate if they at least say it's a clone of, or like, it's our version of it.
Like JHS has that new one, the whatever it's called, that has a rotary switch that gives you all the versions of the TS9 in one pedal.
Really?
Yeah. Kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, and the Earthquaker's got another version that's like got a bunch of cool stuff on it. I mean, it's, you know, there's options. Some sound better than others, you know.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
That's cool. That's cool. By the way, I know I want to go back. I don't know who said it, but they were like, "Are we allowed to ask what's with the slash thing behind you, Dave?"
Mark said right before we went on, someone's going to comment on that, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's why it's there in the picture.
I'm trying to find who asked.
I'm in the middle of doing another backline for Slash. So I did his other rig, and now he's got a smaller backline I'm doing for him.
Is that for his solo stuff? Not
solo
GNR.
and GNR.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of a smaller backup scenario.
Right. How cool is that?
And we just finished doing a whole other backline for Jerry Cantrell.
Awesome.
So, a whole backline, which that means for him, that means he has a backup rack and a main rack for every backline. So it's 2 duplicate large racks of stuff. If you've seen his rig run-throughs before, you know what he uses.
That's a lot of stuff.
If you haven't, go watch the Sweetwater rig run-through. There's three videos that was done recently off this tour that I'm in 2 of them. So,
yeah, they're good videos. They're detailed.
Yeah, there's the one with me that really walks through the basics of the rig. That's the best, the best one. And then, I mean, for real details.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm going to see him next month.
Oh yeah, it's good. I just saw him.
Yeah, with Tom Brino.
I just saw him a few days ago.
You know Tom Brino?
Yeah, man. Tom's cool.
Yeah.
Tom's real good.
Very
probably
cool.
on there somewhere or something.
Yeah, he's out in the chat. I saw him. Cool. So keep going, Wade. Keep telling us what other pickups you got.
The one Dave
Black belt. No. Let's start the lineage here.
Who?
Let's start the lineage here. Let's see. You got the Aflayu, and let's go to more traditional black belt.
Well, there's nothing traditional about that. That's
it's your take on the.
Yeah, it is, but it's
PAFE.
When me and Dave was kicking it, and Dave was asking me all kinds of stuff, and just years and years ago, and he's like, I don't know, just wind me something, just make it super kick ass. I don't know, man, just give me a call. So I call him for a week. It's like, oh man, I don't know. I sent it out to him.
Not the
I'm telling about the second degree, dude.
No, I'm not even going there yet. Let's talk about what you had. The black belt, which is the Alnico 4.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. The black belt's the Alnico 4 version is the early traditional one. It's just a traditional black belt with the Alnico 4 magnet. And I have a series. It's the black belt series. So that was the very first black belt, was a more traditional PAF design.
Which sounds great.
And it is. It's super fat. It's super chewy. And it's also bright. It has a great bite to it. And those are some of the characters that PAFs also have, but it takes a little step away from it because it handles the gain so well. So well. And some of the older PAFs and things like that from the 60s and stuff, they sound great. Some of them handle gain well too, but I can guarantee you that most of the audience that's listening has not played a PAF. And if they had, they most likely, about 90% of the people will pull it right back out. I can't deal with it. It's too bright.
Well,
Absolutely.
here's the thing too.
It happens, man. So
here's the thing too. They all sound different.
This is true. Well,
pretty radically different.
There were some magnet swaps. There's so many different. There's so much mysticism, and then somebody's incorrect information becomes someone's facts down the line. So there's a lot of misinformation about the PAFs in general. Most of them were wound on machines. That was a big misconception. That they think that they were all hand wound and they had a whole bunch of old ladies in bonnets. Dude, no. Didn't. So
No, they use
Okay.
whatever magnets they get their hands on at the time.
Yep.
Oh, the swap randomly between different magnets.
Mm-hmm.
And
Predominantly, mostly Alnico 5. They had a couple batches of Alnico 2 that were on record, I guess. I'm not an authoritative figure on that because I didn't research that myself. I was told that. So let's clear that up. I don't want to be like that. But the black belt comes from an era of having a pickup that a PAF design, a little more aggressive to handle higher gain structures, hot Marshalls. I'm a Marshall guy by nature. I love it. Hey, man, turn it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I think the Sir Thornbucker also has a Alnico 4 in it. I might be wrong, but I think
he did put an Alnico 4.
Yeah.
And he has a Alnico 5 in the neck, I think, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, my set's all 4, so the black belt's just a straight up 4 set.
I think they started with an Alnico 5 in the bridge, and then they were just playing with stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, well,
Cool.
That's my only bridge. That's my only pickup that has an Alnico 4 in it. It sounds great. So, yeah, what's the difference between the Alnico 4 and the 5 that you would?
It's a little bit flatter response, So just kind of look at a Alnico 5 as a smiley face, and kind of look at an Alnico 4 as just pretty much flat. It doesn't protrude any. It will give more mids. I believe it gives a little bit more mid section in it. There's just a sparkle to the Alnico 4. It does something to the high end that's just gorgeous too. So I'd like to say that it would soften it just a very, very, very small bit, but it does add a little bit of tubbiness to the low end. So you got to watch that. And I know I work real hard at getting away from the the subsonics, of the design. So, but that Thornbucker is super cool.
Yeah, it's a cool pickup. I got the Thornbucker Plus, but that's cool. All right, so I didn't mean to interrupt with that. So keep going.
So that would be the.
Then you went to the second degree.
Yep, and then the second degree, which was the, a little bit hotter version, and this is where Davis says, "Hey,
Alnico 5,
you better do this." Yeah.
What is it? Is it rough cast? No, wait, we played with that, didn't we?
Yeah, rough cast, and I always use rough cast predominantly, unless it's.
But did we play with the length of the magnet?
No, not so much. We did. I do bounce between 60 and 63.5. So,
right.
Yes, you can shorten them up. It doesn't with that type of design that just has the top of. With this pickup, there's a 3D swirl to it, so it's real reminiscent. That's very common with PAFs and stuff. Again, these are characters. I'm not going out to recreate anyone's work or redesign anything. That's not what I'm doing.
For me,
and I've never claimed to do that. So
for me, the second degree was the ultimate percussive, stringy rhythm pickup.
Right.
It does Van Halen in spades. Early Van Halen. In fact, it's in Pete Thorne's guitar, that his black guitar with the Cordis pickguard that he cut the BEOD video with of ours, and that he cut the EVH overdrive pedal video for Van Halen with, and a couple other videos.
I love that dude.
And it's just got this great open, chirpy top end. For me, it's got the swirl like he's talking about, which is hard to explain necessarily.
It is.
If you've heard it, you'd understand. Sort of like when you ring out a chord and you let the high strings ring out, it just has this kind of like almost slightly chorused effect to it. It's like this swirl.
Beautiful.
And it's just the right amount of heat. It's not too hot. It's still wide open sounding. and very percussive. It's also a favorite pickup of Steve Stevens. He's got him in a few guitars, and he still has him in a few guitars. So he put him in several of his guitars, actually.
This is a second-degree black belt we're talking about.
Yeah, and he loves playing with pickups.
Oh, dude!
It's like, hey, can you wind? And I want to do this. I want to try. For a while, he was on a kick with no waxing.
No potting,
which takes some balls to handle that on stage.
Jimmy Burkhardt, those Alnico.
Alnico 3s don't have waxing, right?
So
sorry, you cut out, bud.
I said no, not Jimmy's.
Well, yeah, that would not work for me.
I don't know, man. I'd have to send you one.
Squeal like a pig.
Well, look, dude. You know what, man? I restructured a lot of things. I didn't have it. You know, that depends.
All right.
You might. You can find ways to mess things up by volume. I can see you doing that for sure. So
here's the thing: if it can't squeal with like a 50-watt Marshall on 10.
No, it wouldn't. But also, to remember, I mean, if you're, dude, you can't stand here and play with your stuff and look.
No, but it can't squeal. It can't squeal.
It's gonna do that, but if
I understand. I understand the no potting. It sounds cool, but it's not always realistic.
No, I was shocked though when
It's realistic for realistic gain levels that people used to play with, but in this day and age. Dude, they don't play with realistic gain levels anymore.
John Sykes. How about John Sykes? That pickup I repaired, that's completely unwaxed.
Yeah.
And they cut all those albums, all those concerts with that.
That's good.
Amazing. Yeah, but that's John Sykes, and he never stops playing, so it's all good to me. Made time for it to squeal. But I was shocked about that because his pickup was completely unwaxed, and he had that pickup for all of like Thin Lizzy, Blue Murder, and all of the Whitesnake album he had recorded with that as well. And come to find out, lo and behold, there wasn't a drop of wax in that. Nothing.
When did they start waxing pickups?
I don't know. Probably like the early 60s. I don't know, mid 60s maybe.
Do you know, Dave?
Probably 62, right in that area.
Okay. So Van Halen wasn't the first one to wax to pot a humbucker.
I don't know. Maybe Seymour was. Maybe I don't know. Well, wouldn't it be Fender with their notorious lacquer potting and things like that? So I found some old Fender stuff that's still, wet, never cured, things like that. So yeah, it sounded like poop from day one. But hey, I love Fender.
Yeah, old stuff.
I'm not real sure. Probably in the 60s, sometime in the 60s, mid 60s, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. That's also another. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, good.
Going about the black belt and stuff like that, and how that all transpired with Dave and some things. So I don't even know where I was, but it's cool. So anyhow, I made the pickup. I wound it, and I knew Dave was really into Van Halen, and I had talked to Dave for such a long time. We were friends before I ever came out to California, and dude, ask him. I didn't even have a cell phone, and he's like, "Hey, man, if you come out here, you got to get a cell phone." This was like 2006 or 2007. And pretty computer literate in that aspect, so. But I'm busy, man. I'm making pickups, dude.
He'd never been on a plane.
Yeah, actually, I'd never been on an airplane, too. I was in my 30s, man. Yeah, that was the first time I came.
Oh, you've never been on an airplane and didn't have a cell phone?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know, I was behind a little bit technology. So
You've caught up. You've caught up a lot. You're talking in the video chat now.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know. I didn't even have any problems.
Yeah.
Not too much.
No.
But that was it. And Dave says, "Hey, man, you come out here. You got to get a cell phone. You got to, you know, yeah, you should come out and just check it out." So I did. I came out, man, and it was, you know, it was nice, man. Like they say, it's a nice place to visit. You know, you don't want to live there. It was just so noisy, dude. Oh, it was just terrible. I couldn't sleep. Like, all you heard was cars and all this crap, and that went Hollywood. I was like, dude, oh my goodness, get near some trees.
Oh, I love that shit. I love
it.
This
Was
city.
Cool. The concrete jungle. So yeah, that was the first time I flew out there and hung out with him at NAM, and Bruce. You know, they were out there too. You know, so and
cool.
But anyhow, see how I get set.
Oh, he froze up again.
For about a week, Dave says, "Oh, you know, I didn't tell him I sent it, and it showed up, and you know, I seen he called, and I was like, damn, oh, man." And then he called back like 10 minutes later. I was like, oh man. I was like, hello, and he's like, whatever you did, don't do a thing. Well, he didn't say those words. He said, don't do a effing thing. Don't touch it.
It's okay. We can swear on here.
But you know, but and it's never been touched, you know, after that. And I was real hesitant a little bit because of the top end with that pickup.
It's good.
Something that, right, that is, you know, it was something that Dave had to work in on me a little bit too. Like, hey man, just, you know, it's really good. You know, he had to really coerce me into it. And ever since, and I was like, all right, dude. And that's that with that pickup in general. But again, same type of recipe. That one's Alnico 5. We got some custom steels in that pickup too. There's a few different steel types in there. So and the winding is very mad. So it can't be duplicated by anybody. You couldn't really, you know, I can make it. That's it, and that's how it was made. So yeah, there's a few different steels in there. It does matter if you are left or right-handed with that pickup. There's only a few left-handers out there that have ordered, so
Mark
it should all be Mark Abrahamian.
I'm a left-handed.
No, he's a left. Mark here is left-handed.
Oh, I thought that's the last dude that used to buy all kinds of crazy stuff.
So what's the difference with the left-handed?
Cherry.
What's that with?
Proprietary.
Oh. So
well, that's just it takes different steels in different positions. So you know, I don't really
talk reverse about
that. Right. So if you're left-handed, you're going to need to reverse some screws for sure. Definitely.
I got you.
Yep.
That's cool. Good. Good to know.
Yeah, but and all the other ones are kind of stationary. The magnet. There's a little bit of steel shift with the shoe. Standard plate. I use the same plates for all my stuff. Them are custom. I finally picked some stuff that I really, really enjoyed. Best selling stuff to me anyway. Then that, you know, again too, you know, just because it's older material or, hey, well, these are PAF screws versus higher carbon screws that are made today. What's the deal? What sounds better? They have their place, but you'd be real surprised. And again, it was one of those things where you might be a little disappointed. You know, everybody talks about the material for PAFs, what they were made of and things like that. But when you get down to the nitty gritty, a lot of the material that we have today is really good. It sounds really nice. So, you know, a lot of big misconceptions with that as well, you know, and a lot of smoke and mirrors. That's what I like to call it. What do you guys call that? Snake oil or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It has many names.
Right, yeah. Shit.
That's true.
There's many names.
Hey, we got a question here from Francisco Guardian. He said, what's the difference in tone between the second and third degree pickups, tone-wise?
Yeah, what is the difference?
More, a little bit lower mids with the second, with the third degree. Yeah, it's not as hot, but it's a little bit cleaner, but it has a little bit of a mid protrusion. So it's gonna.
So the pickup's cleaner than the second degree?
A little bit, yep, absolutely. It's a little bit
So
cleaner.
you made a third degree pickup that's cleaner than the second degree.
I keep telling you, man, I'm making pickups to go with gain amps, man. Your amps.
Yeah.
Your amps, all these back here, all those back there. We're doing this. So, and that pickup does it in spades. It's a great pickup, but it does have a mid bump. It's got a little bit of a mid bump and not as much 3D swirl. It's still there though.
I heard the mid bump in Jimmy's clips.
Yep. It's very chewy. It's fun. It's fun to play. The neck pickup is just, oh man, it's so much butter. Oh, and the guys that know butter know what I'm talking about. You hit that neck pickup and it just whistles. You know you're on the neck pickup. But the volume contrast between the two is absolutely perfect too, which I don't really necessarily shoot for that because it's such a, a lot of guys do, but I, with this one, the volume's really level, but you'll know you're on that neck pickup, and it's just it sounds super, super good. Yeah. So, and Jimmy's just tearing it up. I like that dude a lot, man. So thanks, Jimmy. Peace and love. So, but that's what that's the difference is mostly. There's more mids. It's a cleaner pickup, but if you're running hot amps like the Friedmans or the JJ, I'm using a Brown Eye. I use that. I don't use any of the switches on there.
So let's talk about Cantrell. So Cantrell in his Les Pauls have second degree black belts.
Yes. And
in his other guitars, it's a pickup you wound for him, but it's kind of a variant off the Aflayu, isn't that not correct? It started off being the Aflayu.
Yeah, he bought a lot of those and got, we kind of just started working and a lot of stuff. He's got a ton of stuff that went out. So I kept really good documents of that stuff and what I was doing with the wines, material, magnets, things like that. So I stamped them all too, and that's, which is so cool because you just never know. I mean, I was talking to Bill Kellier and Jerry gave, or I think it was Dave, his tech gave Bill one of them. And, I didn't even know about it. And me and Bill ended up, talking and going crazy about tone for a while. So, it is a little bit. Yeah, that's the one that I put in his.
It's interesting because when you hear it live, the two different guitars, you really hear the difference. Like in the Les Paul, the second degree is this really big open tone.
Yeah,
and when you hear the G&L, it's more focused and like a little angrier.
Squishy.
Both squishy and a little angrier. Both good tones, just different. But you definitely, like, when you see them, Mark, check it out. It's like you'll see what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit different and a step away from the Aflayu as well. Was the last pickup that those pickups that I put in his guitar out in Kalamazoo when he was here. So, and I was real happy that he played that. A lot of people are weird about that stuff, about putting stuff in. Dude, I showed up, I put him in his guitar. He rocked that guitar that almost half the night, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I was like, oh my God, dude, he just did not care. I mean, obviously cared, but dude was like, yeah, it's rocking.
Speaking of Cantrell, and him too, Tom Abraham's in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tom. I think you got some pickups for him before, right?
Oh yeah. I've seen
well, you knew him when he was the sound guy. He was the sound guy for Alice.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing now, but
he's
Tom called
doing Tom, who are you doing again? I already forgot. Hang on, it's going to come to me in 2 minutes.
Hey, quick question from David Keir. He wants to know, did Dave Black use Motor City pickups?
No, he doesn't have any yet.
No, but again, weird stories are always weird here in Detroit. Dave, we used to rub shoulders all the time down at the studio. Dave plays in another band called Crud, and Crud is the singer from Sponge, and a couple of those cats with they got this gal on there, also a second vocalist. But that's a great show, great band. So their rehearsal spot was right down there next to ours at that time. So we used to rub shoulders, and I talk to him every now and then, So it was weird how, like, when he came back from California too, I was telling Dave the little story. We were chatting it up about Partridge Transformers and stuff, and I went to go see him with Dave about last year sometime, and we right away started talking about Partridge Transformers again. He says, "Oh, you just refreshed my memory." So he might bother Dave for some Transformer goodies, but no, he doesn't use them, not yet. But long story longer though, we always talk pickups and things like that. So but Dave's always been a working musician.
He's kind of a creature of like what works. Yeah. So if he finds what he's using works, he's gonna just continue to use whatever he's using. Hey,
we're like that too. So
unless he's searching for something. Like, yeah. I remember when he was playing his 335, he goes, "Yeah, I tried, like for years I used the JB, and then I tried it in the 335, and it was just crap. And I couldn't deal with it in that guitar, so I just put back the stock Gibsons that came in it, and that's what he was using in that guitar."
Yeah, and he kills it too on that guitar. I don't know how he does it, but he does it, man. A big ass 335 on stage, and he plays loud too.
Yep.
Yeah, but if you ever get a chance, guys, go check out his other band, Crud. That is a fantastic band. So, and
I think they're playing again in November or something. I thought
Crud is, or
well, originally I heard that, but I don't know if it was announced or not.
Yeah,
I know Seduce is.
Hey, those guys are always around here. They're
playing November, end of November, after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, all you got to do is come pick me up on the way there. It's 5 minutes.
I don't think I'm going to be there this time.
No dice, huh?
I don't think I'm going to be there this time.
That's all right. Show goes on, but somebody will be recording it too.
Maybe
I might be there. I might get a little clip or two. I got some good clips of him too, man. So, but
hey, wait. Tom wants to know: are you doing P90s?
Oh, he's got great P90s.
Yes, of course, man. The
rubber duckies.
The rubber duckies are the super hot. No, they're not super hot. They're super awesome, hefty. They're heavy hitters. They're like
rubber
Mike
duckies.
Mike Tyson of
rubber P90s. Duckies, man. Tom, they're good.
The Mike Tyson of P90s. I like that.
Yes, and
they'll bite your ear right off.
They will. Bite the dog ear off here. And the motor mouths, which are more traditional, they're a little hotter than 10,000 turns. So that's real specific about what Gibson liked to do with the P90s and stuff. Those were also wound on a different machine. So all this stuff. There's a guy out here out in Grand Rapids. He does all the PAF stuff, but he's a replicator. He does all these things. His name is John Gundry from Throwback Electronics. Mm-hmm. And he's actually got the original machines. We're buddies, man. He's such a very, very cool dude, and just super down to earth. And he knows what he's doing with these type of pickups, and he's replicating. So, and he's doing it in a way that it really hasn't been done with that much amount of detail. And it makes it nice for guys that like to have their Les Pauls historically accurate and historically correct, things like that. So he is definitely worth a mention. And I love that guy, man. He is just a real dude, man, a real gentleman. So, but he's got some great tutorials, and he also has just some great information on his site about that, if that's what you like to do, if that's what you're looking for too. And again, I don't replicate PAFs. I don't copy these things. So that's why I have great admiration for somebody that takes that amount of detail that does, though, so, and to me, he's the best one in the field that does do stuff like that. So, yeah. But great information. A lot of stuff here in Michigan. A lot of stuff. The Dave's from Detroit, So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about to get cold here too. I can't wait. I'm just tired.
Oh, really? You're looking forward to getting cold?
I'll be there. I'm coming. I'll be at the end. At the middle, for a minute at the middle of October, and then at the end of October.
What are you coming for?
We're doing a store tour
at Marty's place.
Well, we'll be at Marty's place.
Awesome.
We're starting at in Ohio. Actually, Sammy's coming with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool. Sammy's doing the clinic tour with me. Cool. So we're starting in Ohio at. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at my list. Maybe Guitar Riot or something like that. And then we're moving on down to End Stuff Music, and then we're moving to Washington Music. Chuck Levin's Washington Music. We're doing Music Zoo. We're doing Matt's Music.
Wow.
I might be forgetting someone in there. And then we're going to Chicago Music Exchange.
Sweetwater?
With a clinic with Steve Stevens.
Oh, nice.
And then Motor City will be a clinic with Steve Stevens.
Oh, wow. I'm going to be that one, man.
We are not absolutely solidified on all these dates yet, so don't quote me on anything. But it's looking like that's all happening, and that's what's going to happen. So
that'll be really cool, man. And I love Sammy, dude. That's my dog, man.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have a hell of a drive back from fucking New York to Chicago.
Yeah, what's that, like
15, 16 hours?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that from?
That's okay. We got like 2.5 days to do it in, so that's not too bad.
Zoo in New York.
That's not too bad. We'll do it in like 6 hours each day, and then the last.
Dude, you let the kid drive, man. Just take it easy. Kick your feet up. Take your shoes off, dude. Let them drive.
You hear that, Sammy?
Sammy's driving.
I'm going to be laying down in the back of the Suburban.
Yeah,
taking a nap.
He knows from hanging out with me, I'm a slave driver.
So, Sammy was here too on the chat a little while ago.
Oh, was he?
What's up, yes. Sammy? I don't know if he's still here or not. Say hi if you are, so we know you're still here.
Jim wanted to know, where can you find the dates? Where would you?
I don't. They're not announced yet. So give me a minute, and then we will announce it on Friedman social media. So what it's essentially going to be is kind of a meet and greet and gear geek fest with me, and then some playing by Sammy in a clinic style format to some tracks and stuff. It's going to be really killer. If you don't know if you don't know who Sammy is, you should, because he's badass. Come see him.
So you said you're going to be in New York City?
We're going to be in Music Zoo.
Music Zoo. Okay.
That's in New York somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's
not all these stores.
Yeah.
Look, not all these stores are confirmed yet. So I know most are. I know it's, like I said, it's Matt's Music, Music Zoo, End Stuff Music, Chuck Levin's Washington Music. I want to say Guitar Riot is the Ohio store, but that maybe seems wrong. Maybe I'll look it up here in a minute and figure that out.
I'll see if I can meet you up at the music zoo. See if I can work that out.
Oh yeah.
If that works.
Real fun, man. Like,
Yeah.
No, you're not allowed.
Oh, I can't go. All right, fuck it.
Oh man.
Riot. I think. Hold on, I'm seeing it. Yeah, Guitar Riot in Ohio. Yes, that is it. And then, like I said, then we'll be at Chicago Music and with Steve Stevens and Motor City Guitar with Steve Stevens.
Good stuff.
And Sammy might be making a little special appearance with Steve at those 2 dates.
I'll have some. I'll come packing some third degrees if he makes it up here to Detroit. I'll come out there and drop him off, give him a hug.
Yeah, no, well, that's the plan. Although like I said, I have tentative confirmation. I just don't have concrete confirmation.
Well, that's awesome.
So,
and George is coming here. George Lynch is coming next month in October.
Is he doing clinic or something, or is he doing the show?
I think he's doing a show, but that would be super cool if he did another clinic at Motor City Guitar. Dude.
He's done that a bunch.
Yes, it was super cool. A couple cats that I know. Well, I don't know them, but I know of them. You know, they did some backing tracks for him. This cat, Sean Baker, Southern dude, C-Mac. I don't know him too well. I don't know him really that well, but they did an excellent job, and George just kills it at these clinics, man. You got to go see him when he does these clinics because he's really in depth with his audience. So I liked it last time, and he played like 3 hours later and just killed it. So he's always playing these real small clubs out here too that are just, man, if you ain't got the Detroit scene, if you haven't been out here to check out some of the music, some of these smaller clubs where you can get real close to these guys, it's real nice. So it's real venues, you know. So
cool.
All right.
Good stuff. Let's see. I want to see what other questions we've got.
Oh my God, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat, you're like, well, how about going here? How about going there? Give us a minute. So essentially, my schedule. We're doing these dates towards the East Coast. Then right after those dates, I'm home for a few days, and then I'm off to Germany to do the same thing in Germany, England, and Netherlands.
I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah, I got busy 2 months there. October and November is,
Wow.
Basically, I'm losing 2 weeks of each month. So if I have any of your stuff, people, bear with me around then.
That's cool. That'll be cool. Have you been around? Have you done that European? Gone out there before?
I mean, I've been to Europe before, yes, but not any of these stores. No.
Huh.
So that's the first time I'm going to do it.
Right.
And then, there could be other future clinic stuff in the future. Yes.
Yeah. So, Clam's asking, Dave, anytime in Florida or Georgia? Doesn't sound like it.
Not right this minute. It depends on the dealers. Like the bigger dealers for us would get the visit. Maybe Wildwood in the future, out in Colorado.
Chris wants to know: are you going to Anderton's?
Yes. Of course, none of the European stuff I don't think is booked yet. So again, the goal would be to visit Anderton's, Guitar, Peach,
Tomon.
No. Well, yes, but in England, the other one, our other dealer, I'm sorry, guys. I can't think of it. I'll think of it in a minute. And then in Germany, yes, I think it's Music Productive. They do a show, like a NAMM kind of show. So we're there for a few days, and we'll be visiting Thomann. We'll be visiting. You got me on the rest of the dealers there. I'm not sure. So sure.
Gotcha. Thrash Metal and Fun Risk said, "Is that a DS1 on your shirt?" Yes, it is. I thought the shirt was cool. Let's see. So Wade, you know what? There was a question back earlier, I think from Vinny, and he wanted to know what would, if you can take us through like the different magnets for pickups and what, like how they have different tones and things. I think that's what he was asking.
Well, we can do that as a standard, you know. So a lot of times when you build pickups too, if you have an Alnico 2 in mind, you know that's going to be a big mid bump with, you know, warmer highs and a looser low end. So you're going to be thinking about that already. I know I do as a designer. So I would ultimately think while I'm designing it or winding it, how I could tighten that up and combat some of that, bring in some more sparkle without putting in too much of an offset. So again, that's where, you know, doing this stuff for years and years and just, you know, knowing how to really bring those highs out so that when you roll the volume back, you're not losing so much, you know, that plays a big role too. So with that in mind, remember, the magnet's only going to do so much. A lot of the magic is in the coils, and you know it can fine tune with some of the materials with the screws, different radiuses and such. So, you know, say, you know, Alnico 2 has got a loose low end, mid bump, nice warm highs. Alnico 3 is kind of it's going to be a stationary magnet. It's got a little bit of a mid bump protrusion. It's a little bit warmer. It's almost like an Alnico 5 with a little less output. If you really, I mean, these are very standard things, what a majority of the audience would know, or most of the designers as well. Alnico 4 is going to be a little, you know, like I said, a straight flat line. You're going to get a little bit of bumps in that too, but it's what happens with that magnet in particular is it just brings in a tubbiness or a tubiness to the sound. So a lot of times you'll have to work that out, and it takes a long time to get used to that magnet. It did for me. I wasn't happy with that for a long time. So, but in general, a lot of people say that it can be a flat response. Alnico 5, you got your smiley face. Now you're getting into your Alnico 6 magnet. There is an Alnico 6. It's got a bigger saturation or a BH curve, how much it can hold. Very strong magnet, not on par with a neodymium, but very strong. Alnico 6, so you're going to have an increase in output and an increase in overall on your smiley face. So take that Alnico 5, bump that up a big notch. And I'm saying a big notch. You know, let's go with the Alnico 8. The Alnico 8 is very similar to the Alnico 5, but it has a little bit warmer top end and a little bit more mid protrusion. That magnet you're going to need to work with too, because it does bring in a lot of ass in. So it can get real boomy, subsonic boomy. Actually, think of the recording of And Justice for All. That type of boomy. So you're going to have to work that out with the coils too. But in general, that's a very standard generalization of the magnets and what they do. I know so long, but again, I don't want to add any mysticism or hype or what's that, snake oil, right?
Yeah.
So just keeping it on a real level. A lot of the magic is in the winds. That's for me, and what I do, I take it a little bit. I try to get away from what everyone else is doing, man. You know, you want, you know, that's why I say, you know, Seymour's, you know, right there at, you know, you just go wait in line and you can get it right now, you know, things like that. So I don't want to give you something that you can already have, and I want to find myself useful to giving you a great product too. So, but you know, whatever.
That's awesome. That leads us to another question. Actually, Benjamin Murphy had. He said he's late to the chat, which is no problem, man. He said he wanted to ask a question, which no one asked this one before. What other pickup makers are you especially impressed with these days, and why?
Oh, well, thank you, everybody, for your questions too. It's very nice of you. So just wanted to take time out for that. And Benjamin, right? Other pickup makers. I had a conversation with John Sir and his wife for about 40 minutes out at NAMM. And the first time I went out there, I never talked to John because he was so busy and there were so many people around him. Dave introduced us and stuff, but oh, hey, how you doing? We didn't really get to chat. And here I came by, I don't know, what was it, 3 years ago, 2 years, Dave?
Yeah, a couple years ago, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I was out there, me and him got in a discussion, him and his wife. And that guy I like him, and I like his wife too, man.
Yes,
They're just cool people, man.
Yes, John's great.
Damn cool. And we got in a conversation about pickups, and about 40 minutes went by, and I looked around, and dude, there was a lot of guys waiting to talk to him, and I but we were so invested in this conversation, so I didn't get a chance to meet back up. I have a lot of respect for that dude. I like him a lot. His product, as far as I know, is good. And like I say, with his product, my product, or anyone's product, that's what are you looking for? Does my product fit what you need? It might not. You might need to go and get a different product, something that's more of your needs. That's totally fine. It's a big piece of pie, man. There's room for us all. We don't have to.
Yeah, I always say the same thing. It's like that. So many, I'm friends with all the amp builders and stuff, and it's like, if you prefer the Soldano amp over my amp, well, then buy the Soldano amp. It's fine. I don't have any issues with that. Yeah. I think the end user ultimately is going to buy what he likes.
Yep.
Or I would hope, he's going to buy what he likes. So you can't talk someone into. I mean, maybe you could talk someone into buying something, but ultimately, if he doesn't like it, he's going to get rid of it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So it's like, and it's not that you can't have different kinds of pickups and different guitars from different makers and different things. Because it's like. I have one guitar that has a vintage JB in it from the early 80s. That's a great pickup. I'm not going to get rid of that. It's just like, it's not,
Right.
I have I'm looking at 3 or 4 guitars with your pickups in it sitting here. I'm looking at my guitars that have the pickups we did for those. I'm looking at, oh hell, there's a guitar out here with Fishman's in it, the Fluence. There's David Allen pickups in one of the guitars out here. There's
Yeah, I like that. I like Lindy Fralin pickups.
Oh, absolutely.
Great pickups.
Yeah, so
Lindy's like the grandfather of this shit.
Yeah,
kind of, man. I do like John Sir, though. I like some of his work and stuff, and I really am looking forward to running back into him and his wife and catching back up where we left off, because we were in a mode of like we were in genius mode, so yeah, it was going down, and yeah, I really like him a lot. Another designer, and I've always been real frank with Dave about things. Even early on, I always thought that was awkward for me as a designer, was always looking like, anytime that I was learning about pickups or repairing pickups, what I'd noticed, like DiMarzio in general, man. I mean, I've been through a lot of their models. I've repaired a lot of them, things like that.
Unique.
But they do things that you wouldn't do. The shortest magnet I've ever seen in a pickup was from DiMarzio. The shortest. It was a ceramic magnet, and that right there blew me away, because that's thinking out of the box. you have two magnet sizes, man. You got 60 and 63.5 millimeters, or I might have it backwards, 60.5 and 63. Who cares? Anyhow. The point is that a majority of your builders and things are going to stick within that group of, hey, these are the two legs. This is what works. This is what we're going to use.
Also, the brass bottoms.
What's that? Yeah,
also the brass bottoms.
Yeah. That too, so, and, different types of brass also throughout the years, kind of teeter-totter in between different types of, like, he was using bell brass for a little while, and then he had switched over. So a lot of these things, I did early on just to do, man, for myself. I haven't looked at pickups in quite some time, other than the occasional repair that I might do now. But he always influenced me to not care what anyone else is doing and do what you want to. I mean, like, that design right there showed me that he wasn't thinking about what you cared about or what I cared about or anybody cared about, but what he needed to get done and what he needed that for. So that was a big, big inspiration on me, honestly. And I've told Dave that too when we were sitting at this Mexican restaurant. And he's like, "Oh, there's Steve Butcher from DiMarzio." I'm like, "Who?" So, yeah, that guy, yeah, that was a big influence on me. And of course, I think too, also this guy, Tim out at Bare Knuckle, he makes a good product too. You got to give that guy a lot of credit because he's just he's built a small little army, and it's fun to see these new products and things that he comes out with. I'm a big namer too, and he seems to kind of get off on different directions and really zone in on some of his work, and he's got some great parts. And yeah, that right there. And of course, John Gundry from Throwback Electronics, the PAF guy, he's a huge inspiration on me. I learned a ton of stuff from him. Just in general, listen, when we talk, we're not talking always about pickups. We might be talking about, business in general or our clientele or how to better service your clients or your customers and things like that. So he's a really, really smart guy and a good gentleman. So those guys, man, I would say right off the bat. And then there's a couple guys I noticed that kind of track me down at NAMM, and that's cool too. I'm all good with that. But yeah, those guys really influenced me a little bit. So I think.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Here's an interesting question. Abe Alejandro, he said, please talk about staggered poles and neck radius.
Oh.
Staggered poles and neck radius. So, yeah, you can sure do it. Is it going to benefit you? It's going to give you a good balanced tone. And there we go. Again, remember what you have in the coil, and those magnets are going to go with your instrument, what you want. But the general thought is that that's going to give you a very balanced sound. So, if you're going to line your single coil magnets up at a 9-degree radius to follow your neck completely, so it's absolutely perfect at every single height. So you have to find somebody that's going to break the standard and come off of the 52.2 millimeter spacing and get you a smaller spacing in the neck position, so you can get that at about 48, so that radius can actually make a difference for you. Because if those poles ain't lining up to those strings, then you just radius that for nothing. It'll line up on the bridge, but it won't line up on the neck piece. So balanced sound. Balanced sound for sure.
So has that been done, or that hasn't been done?
Absolutely. That's been done for a lot of guys. Lindy Fralin, I think he used to do that. Jason Lawler used to do stuff like that, I think, too. That's another good builder, too. That guy's he wrote the book on how to wind pickups. They got a lot of credit for that guy, too. He's been at it for a while. But, yeah, these guys have definitely been out there doing it. And again, too, we all specialize in different things, I believe, Jason Lawler is one of the only guys in the country right now that actually make a horseshoe pickup for a Reckenbacher the proper way. you know, so you know, that I don't know how big that is, but to take the initiative and then to do it right, you know, that's that, you know, what a way to you know,
Right back.
set the line for the rest of us, you know. So yeah, that guy, yeah, he's something too, man. He's good builders, man.
Yeah, yeah. And then someone mentioned Barden.
Joe Barden, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with him per se.
Me either. I've never.
He's been around for so many years, and he makes so many. I've heard him. I've played him. Absolutely, makes a good product, and he's been around for many, many years. So very quiet. I like those companies, those sleeper companies that, you know, you do what you do, and you do that well, you know, and you don't break stride in it. So that's a good company. Oh, there's also, you know, like Bill Lawrence too. You know,
Yep.
Bill was a great. You know, you ever catch any of his articles or anything that he wrote about, he was real what do they say, real aware of like eddy currents and how to soak them up, how to widen the capacitance so that you don't have too bright of a pickup, get rid of those ice picks. He was notorious for like some of those steel blade pickups that he used to do. That's actually laminated steel.
Who's this?
Bill Lawrence.
Oh yeah, those are great pickups.
So, you know, even with like the L500, you know, for the Lawrence L500, Dimebag used to use that. I think that's like
a cool pickup.
Yes, it's bright. You know, it's very bright, but it could even be even brighter had Bill not used the material he did. He's actually, yes, because those little blades, man, those actually like 3 or 4 pieces of metal with laminated epoxy that they press between there so that it doesn't soak up the eddy currents as much as a one piece of steel would. So therefore it's not as dark. It's not going to, so, you know, that's why that pickup's bright. Dude, that guy was, amazing.
I really like that pickup. I remember Reinhold Bogner had one of those in an old Strat, just like kind of kludged into the Strat.
Oh,
it sounded great.
Really? That's a bright pickup, dude. Very bright pickup.
It's bright, but it was just punchy and cool, and I kind of almost want one, like an old one or something, just to have, you know, put it in a guitar, just to have it, you know.
And he epoxied that stuff too. So he's, you know, but he's a great designer.
Wait, someone here asked, David Vivar asked, what are your thoughts on active pickups? End of story.
Well,
come on.
They have their place. They absolutely have their place, and they're great pickups. I used to use EMGs for a long time, and I still have my set. You have to have those, man. You have to, because you gotta be able to compare with other people, and you have to know.
Never, ever in my life have I plugged in an EMG guitar and said, I gotta have it.
I didn't say I had to have it. I said I gotta have it so I can talk to you, man. So that I know, and I used them for years. I think
not my thing. Maybe it works for someone, just not my thing.
But I think that they have a place for everything, and I think that company is again another company that was innovative at the time, that took a huge step into a different direction that, you know, a lot of people weren't doing, except for the piezo companies and some of these, you know, other things. But that is. At that time, you got to understand, man, that is just like that's admirable, because you don't know if that, at that time, there's no way, what's his name? Rob Turner. There's no way for him to know if his company was ever going to be popping off, you know, so he took a big leap with that, man, and nobody was doing it. So that is something that is admirable, though. As far as the product goes, I wasn't again, I'm an awkward duck, dude. 89.
This is great. Right. Vinny Moretti, EMG equals electromagnetic garbage. I like that. Vinny, make a t-shirt.
That'd be pretty good. I said, man, they got a place for everything, and certain guys like them, they get down with them, others don't, but I personally, I like the whole build aspect of it. I think it's super cool. And
I will agree. I will agree with the Guitar Guru Network that EMG passives are quite good. They do sound good. I've heard a couple of those that sound great.
I've never tried them.
Yeah, well, they're pretty good too. I mean, then stationary pickups, this guy, he's not uneducated on pickups, man. This guy knows what he's doing. So
yeah, I know. I'm not saying
he's pro.
I mean, EMGs for bass can be cool.
Yes, absolutely. That's
really
another kicker. Everybody on bass loves active pickups.
Yeah,
so quiet stuff like that, and that's what.
All right. You know what? I'm going to eat my words on something here. EMG, I'm agreeing with Dr. Hot Dog here. Yes, that's his sign-on name is Dr. Hot Dog. The David Gilmour EMG set with the 2 preamps they had in it, which was like a mid-scoop and then like a mid-boost. That set back in... That kind of came out back around when they did that last Floyd tour, which was it 88, 90, early 90s, something like that, right? You know what? That set was kind of cool, but you needed the preamps to make the pickup sound
awesome,
like something, like without the preamps that didn't really have it. So yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
All right. Got a thumb up for that.
I'll give you that. But that's the only EMG pickup I've ever liked.
You know what pickup
the passives.
You know what pickup I really wanted to get? And there's actually the guitar that actually has it in it is a sustainer.
Very cool.
I want a sustainer pickup so badly.
Really?
Yeah, I just
friends don't let friends use sustainers.
I've never played with one, so I figured why not.
You know what you do is you turn your amp up a little louder and get in front of it, and you use feedback from your amp.
Let it rip.
That'll work.
What you do.
Yeah.
Cool. There's a great video on YouTube with Reeves Gabriel's. Fernandez makes the Fernandez sustainer.
Yeah.
So, but there's a video of Reeves Gabriel's from Bowie just killing this. Dude, gotta watch it, man.
I've seen some people use it creatively, which is
so
great,
good, dude. So no, this Reeves is the whip at it, and he's the whip at anything that dude does. He's just kind of like, he's. Oh man, it's like picking apples in the Garden of Eden with that dude. But bing! It's great guitar player. But check that video out. Yeah, he just kills the sustainer, and that's a great example of what that pickup does. But I don't know if I could get those sounds. He's great. He's a good dude.
Well, Ed used the sustainer for a while,
which is exactly my hate for it.
Oh, is that why? Okay.
Yes. Fuck, he couldn't stand that.
Wow.
I can't.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
I hear you. You know, it's a really cool pedal actually that gives you some of that, and which the Digitech
freak out.
Yeah, the freak out pedal. Yeah, that's a cool pedal. I have that on my board.
Well, there you go. You already have it.
Yeah. So it's pretty close.
It's pretty close, actually.
Yeah.
The problem with the sustainer in a guitar is the fact it really just screws with the tone of the instrument. I had to put one in for Joel Hoekstra in one of our guitars, and I'm just like, I mean, there's a way you can get around the preamp board and stuff on it, but it's all active basically. And you're taking their nice, cool pickup and you're shoving it through this circuit that doesn't sound that great.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
You can bypass the thing. There's a way to do it, but it's kind of problematic to do it.
And plus, you can't just take one of those pickups and put it in a regular guitar.
Use an EBO. There you go.
Oh, an EBO. Yeah.
Jay Foster, guitar, said, "Just get an EBO."
Yeah, that's another way to do it.
That is one way to do it.
That is cool. EBOs are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one real cool.
Interesting. So someone wanted to know what pickup would they use to get an Aldo Nova tone. Did you see that, Dave? I forgot.
No, but that's interesting. Well, that's kind of like a cranked up old Marshall tone. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think
pop out a second degree with that.
second degree, or maybe even a Detroiter, which we haven't discussed.
Nope, we haven't hit that yet. But yeah, I would go with the second degree with that for sure.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, if a little hotter signal,
probably do it with. You could probably do it with a regular black belt too. That's kind of a classic.
hot amp.
You know,
A little
sort
hot.
of.
No.
I mean, that tone isn't that hot. I mean, it's just like big and open and an old Marshall that cranked up. You know,
Right. The
You know,
PA.
it's almost like Billy Squier tone. You know,
Right.
which is classic.
It is too. It is.
Hey, someone's bringing my amp in.
No, that's not your amp. That's Peter.
Is
Say
that
hi,
amp,
everyone.
is that Amp Pete?
Amp Peter.
It's funny. I was watching an Andertons video, and they were saying that they need to get an Amp Pete system, but they were calling it Amp Pet.
I know. So yeah, Pete Thorne did that too in a video.
Oh, did you? Okay.
No, it's okay. I forgot about that stuff you brought me. Thank you. All right.
Have a good night.
Peter says bye.
Bye, Pete.
Hey, is that the one you brought down to Detroit?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Was I
German
harassing
Pete.
him, wasn't I? About something.
I don't know. You might have been harassing him. Who knows?
He's a nice guy. Smart as hell. That that system is super cool.
Yes, it is. It's very cool. You know, for sure. We got two of them. 16 heads, 16 cabinets, baby.
That's amazing.
You need an amp switcher, Wade.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I do.
Dude, you need an amp switcher in there to go between all the amps into your cabs.
Yeah, I get tired of moving around. I always these are my use the most though.
You could just turn them all on and then just go push buttons on your desk and play through.
That'd be running up my electric, man. I gotta wind some pickups, man. You're gonna have me on solar power in no time.
Don't talk to me about electric bills. You don't have
them. That's why all your lights are off tonight.
The air's out.
The company pays this one.
Yeah, the sun's still out over there, man. Wow.
No, not really.
Oh yeah, so we were talking. We were on the second degree black belt.
Yeah,
on with that one, right? So
we were.
Yeah, so it's just a real cool pickup. Like I said, it's got some material differences and things like that. Alnico 5, and it's got a wind that is incredible. So, and it does its job.
It is incredible.
I like that. Next one up would be the Detroiter. The Detroiter is just a really hot pickup. It's a PAF character. I keep going back to that. That's the only thing that you can really kind of give you a base for. And then, you know, it's hot.
My take on that pickup for me is it almost has a tad of P90 in it.
Could have a little bit, for sure. It definitely
kind of a mid.
Yeah.
Interesting spot for the mid bump on that one for me.
Yeah, and you know, if you're that amp loves like the older 800s. It just really loves them 800s, man. It
doesn't work as well with my amps. Although it's okay. Look, it's not my personal favorite,
right?
But then again, I think it might work better in a Les Paul too.
It does.
It's a good sounding pickup. Don't get me wrong.
You know, when you put it in like a Strat, it's going to add a little bit of bump to it. You know, it's a hefty pickup, but it's still really tight. So that's the thing that you're going to love about that pickup is the tightness. And that's where it leaves a little bit from the second degree, and it moves, into the Detroiter. The Detroiter is a little bit tighter. It doesn't have the ease of the chords. So when you hit that chord and it breaks up real easy for you and it just sounds huge, the Detroiter is a little more narrow, a little bit more focused. It's still big. It's hotter. It's big as well, but it's more narrow, more focused on the note.
Right.
So it's a little bit more stiff to play. Dave Lynch from Overkill, East Coast thrash, man. Those guys steady picking 240 all day long, man. He can't outplay that pickup. That's what it's for. You know,
what does he like? He likes
what do you mean for amp wise? Oh yeah, he started off on the black belt too.
Yeah.
The original Alnico 4 black belt. And he had just talking to him, I don't know, a couple, 4 weeks ago, and every time I just love that. But I mean, he's a good friend, man. He's been with me for years and years now too. So you know, we chit chat all the time. But he started out with the black belt, and then we moved into the Detroiter, and the Detroiter is that pickup that you're not gonna outplay it, man. You ain't gonna happen. You know, you can lose a little bit of definition with like the second degree, a lot of guys, and that's gonna depend again on your signal and your amp and how you're wired up.
Lose definition, really, on that pickup?
Yeah, I know it's hard to you know, but when you're comparing to the Detroiter and the tightness and the more focused note compared to a more bigger sound with the second degree, you know, you can see how like the second degree is great for chord work and just overall it just blooms. Whereas again, the Detroiter is more narrow. It's not as big with the chord work. It will for the 800. So it's just kind of, you know, it's a little bit more.
That kind of makes sense because the 800's low end is a little looser. So if you have a little narrower of a pickup, it probably works better.
And anytime I had an 800, I always, you know, that's your standard. You know, all these guys were cutting them albums with you know, amps and overdrive pedals back then, man. You know, JMPs and overdrives and this cabinet.
OD1.
Yep, OD1.
Or SD1.
It was a SD1 scooping all the bass.
Or the OD1. Yeah, there's no bass.
None. Yeah, so you're tight as a whip, man. But and then you're going to play with some 75s or something. That's going to be even tighter. So, you know, that's why I say you still got a lot of room, you know, when you speaker choice too, with your 75s, 65s, your H30s, your 25s, and your 20 watters. So those are the very standards for Celestians, and you can go with the other stuff that they make that nobody really likes, like the 70s. So.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, did I say that out loud? So you know, it's just but I love the H30s. That's my speaker, and your amp kills it, Dave. I love that to death. I think that's the speaker for this particular brown eye. For what I mean,
65s or the.
No, I'm using the H30s predominantly. I use the 65s in this one, but there's that's got vintage 30s in there. It's around somewhere. There's two cabs here with it's that one. The Metropolis has that H30s in there. That speaker sounds phenomenal. With
which H30?
It's the Heritage 55 hertz.
Okay.
H30. It's not
because there's also the
international. Nope, this is the original Heritage English Heritage. Right. Yeah, that's a great speaker, dude. It's got a 55 hertz bump on it, so it's got that bigger magnet. But
now, if you can find the original G12M 30 55 hertz speakers, those are the best. The old ones.
Yeah, well, you have to.
Those were the best speaker ever.
They are. But good luck. I mean, you're going to pay $300 for one of those, man.
Oh my God, those are good.
They are blackbacks. So that's what I like.
They're green.
Oh, I know which ones you're talking about.
Yeah, the big magnets, the 30-watt magnet, greenback essentially, 55 hertz though. So technically it's the bass speaker.
That amp though, with that H30 is magnificent, and you know, so you get. You know, it's a little bit stronger, but you get a great, with this amp, it can get, you know, when you start dogging it with hotter pickups, it can get a little, you know, it can compress on you a wee bit. That speaker opens that right up. It's beautiful. It's got a great woody tone to it. And George's cabinet, I mean, it's a replica cab. It sounds great, dude. I mean, if you don't want to take your $5,000 68 cab out, that's probably what you want to take on the road with you. The guy's done a great job replicating that, man. I got to give him that too, down to the cheese head screws that you mount this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
flathead.
Yeah, a little bit of, I don't know, but
is he still making those, or he stopped making those?
I'm not sure, but if he is, it's worth getting, man.
Those replica cabs.
The true good question.
And there might be an issue. You'd have to call him and ask him, but there might be an issue with that center pine post, because that center pine post is about that yay big, and he's got the proper species. The dude went out of his way, man. Another Michigan cat again. Detroit just blowing it up. Got Agnator here, Friedman's out here, George,
Danny Russell,
Danny Russell. There's a whole. I'm so sorry. Stone Age cabinets. Is that right?
He's here.
There was some other Yahoo.
John from Stone Age cabinets. I think John.
That's just got wind of some other guy just moved out here. I don't know him though, but he came out from your neck of the woods, man.
Echo Park Guitars, Gabriel Curry.
Yeah. So he came out here.
Who's also making NARB amps now.
Yeah, I checked that out too. Braun.
Yeah, Braun spelled backwards.
And again, that's that would fall under replicating. So you got a great team of replicators here between John Gundry, George Metropolis.
That's who we need to have on the show. Gabriel Curry.
Yeah,
dude. Guitars.
I don't know the guy. I never met him, but
I don't know him, but we've chatted a few times.
So yeah, he's hanging out at this store, Rock City Music in Livonia or something like that. He pops in there every now and then. And this guy I know out there that does guitar work. So you guys gotta get together and just talk, and you guys would just talk for years. And I was like, dude, I gotta make pickups, dude.
Actually,
dude, look, man.
What is he using for pickups?
I don't know. I think he's got some cat out in Ohio making them for him or something like that. So I'm not real sure.
He's just down in Old Redford.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the guy. I never met him. I just got wind. Like I said, a good buddy of mine is friends with him and said, "Hey, man, this guy, do you know him?" I said, "No, but I've heard of him. Maybe my buddy Dave knows him." So, like I said, man, a big team of replicators out here between, Gundry and Metropolis, and Gabe came out here. There's a couple other cats out here too that are making some really nice stuff, man. Michigan's always had really cool stuff though. And just, I think that just these people out here are workers in general, man. They really bust their ass and they really like to do things nice.
I was going to say, they make good products.
Yeah. Nice, not twice. That's my motto. Right?
That's cool.
Yep.
Hey, we got a good question here from Terry St. Cummings. Would I use high or low output pickups for a Tony Iommi tone?
High. Woo! Tony Iommi uses John Birch pickups. John Birch made the original pickups for Tony's SG. And, there's all kinds of speculation whether or not that pickup had a mix between Alnico 5 and ceramic magnets. Things like that, but John Birch is a great designer, so you're going to want to go with a hot pickup in your SG. SGs want hot pickups or cool pickups. They don't like the in-betweeners unless you got the amp, unless you got the speakers and things like that, and we converse. Normally, SGs are going to want hot pickups or cool pickups, low output or hot. It's the way it is, man. That's a whole big piece of mahogany. So you want to cut through the mix. I would go hot first because Tony Iommi's cool, and I follow him.
It's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta love Tony. Then we had another question. How do you like that KSR amp behind you from Matt Harrison?
It's pretty cool. It's
speaking of that, Kyle Rhodes is in the chat.
Hey Kyle, what's happening, brother?
What's up?
And he said he wants some pickups.
Send me an amp.
Are you gonna send him like 200 pickups?
Are they that much?
Kyle, I'm afraid you're gonna have to buy a lot of guitars now.
Yeah, really. Kyle's stuff sounds really good, man. And there's my buddies cutting an album. Actually, he's finishing up. He's got a bass player from the Cro-Mags is playing with him too. So it's going to be a great lineup. Actually, he's going to be opening up for George Lynch too in a hot second next month.
Cool.
Dave knows him. Cool. But anyhow, yes, man, KRS rocks and it's very saturated. I'd like Kyle to do an amp with some KT88s personally. That's just, I would like to see what you could do with something like that in a really hot, like a KT88 with maybe an 800 bass and just raging like hell. That would be super cool because you got a great tone and a great ear for some amps, dude. So yeah, I like it a lot, man. Thank you for the questions too, guys. Super cool. Very much.
Yeah, cool to see Kyle Rhodes in here too.
Yes.
Yeah, we got Tom Abraham, we had Sammy, we have Kyle Rhodes, we have Guitar Guru Network, we have we have a lot of people actually.
I would look and try to see the chat, but I don't want to hit a button and everything turn off. I've been notorious for that, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Let you guys roll it out.
It's probably better. We'll lose you.
I was going to say that's a smart move. We'll handle the questions, no problem.
Right? Yes, please. Yeah. But yeah, man.
That's cool. We had a comment from Eric Tripton. Eminence Private Jacks pre-roller type, Dave, baby.
I'm not an overwhelming fan of Eminence speakers. So, but they have made some things in recent years that are much better than they used to be. So, I'm kind of a diehard Celestion guy. So,
I was wondering.
But you know what? If they work for you, man, great. Go for it.
Exactly.
What works for you doesn't necessarily work for me. It's fine.
The Private Jack is a cool speaker. It's greenback based, but again, too, when you're A-Bing them against a greenback, you're gonna definitely hear the differences. But Eminence used to make a square speaker, a square magnet speaker, Sound City speaker. Remember those?
I think some of those ended up in orange amps too. I had an orange cabinet with
those. You ever find those online, buddy? You better grab one of those. I'll tell you what, I got one.
I never liked those.
Hey, you'll change your mind when you come and you hear it through this 112 speaker all by itself. I swear to you, dude, it hits that Van Halen tone instant, man. Instant. It's super fat. And it's in a 112, so nothing's distracting it. I only have one of them, but I was amazed because it's got a very, very brown sound. And it's a square magnet speaker. It's got a square magnet, kind of throw you off for a little bit. I did a little investigation. Oh, yeah, it's an Eminence. And I've been through the whole Eminence line. Private Jacks, Governors, Man of Wars, Cannabis Racks, all of them, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not saying anything. I like the square magnet 70 speaker. That's it, man.
Here, you know what I like? I like a cast frame old Fane.
Oh man, you're killing it right there. That's what like Clapton used in Cream and stuff.
That's like the holy grail. George Lynch, I don't know if he still has it, had a cabinet, a high watt cab with old cast frame Fanes. And this cabinet just sounded incredible.
Really? I would have loved to check that out.
I would like to have a cabinet with old cast frame Fanes. I don't have that. I do have a high watt PA head now though.
Really?
Oh, by the way, I just heard
thanks to Tim Pierce, not Timothy Pierce. I think if you remember, Mark, on our show with Tim, I mentioned the old blue Vox AC30 that I sold him years ago.
Right.
Well, I'm now in possession of it again.
You got it back.
And I got it back, and I thank Tim very much for getting it back to me.
Nice.
And Tim, you're awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. and it's a copper top, early '60s Vox blue AC30. Yeah, have you ever seen one of those? I got to send you a picture, Wade. It looks badass. You'll see it and you just went, oh shit.
I want to play on it, man.
Oh my god, it sounds incredible.
Really?
And then when I had the amp, when I first got the amp, I got it from I wonder if you know this guy. There's a guy originally that was in Detroit, Steve Goodall. You remember that name?
Yeah.
You know his name? Steve Goodall sold me a ton of amps over the years. Sold Dave Black too, a ton of amps, tons of people. And he moved out here, but I got that amp from him originally.
Really?
And man, then I had Mark Sampson put a top boost circuit in it. Because it didn't have a top boost circuit, and really you want a top boost circuit.
Right.
And so it's still the same.
That's awesome. He took good care of it.
He took good care of it. It's exactly the same as it was.
Beautiful.
So thank you again, Tim Pierce.
I saw an awesome video, I think it was today or yesterday, of Doug Rappaport doing a Sound City video.
Oh, yeah. He did the Sound City Stevie's amp.
Yeah.
Where he kind of copped a
Live at Leeds kind
of a Live at Leeds or Who sort of riff. And it wasn't the exact riff, but he totally copped the feel of that kind of thing. And
yeah,
sounded great.
Sounded great.
Those sound cities that Stevie's making now are badass.
Wow.
Yeah. You got to turn them up.
Right. That's what it sounds.
So it's basically, from what I understand, it's the very early circuit of Sound City, which is essentially a high watt circuit. The Sound City Dave Reeves came after his high watt to Sound City. And the very early ones were basically high watts. And man, the Sound City sound great.
Yeah, it's got that element of like this clean, but just broken up, but clean. It's just so clarity was awesome. I was like, oh man, that's
when Stevie was first developing that, a couple amp shows he was at, and he's like, oh, you play it, you play it. I'm like, all right. So he has this old Hamer guitar with two it's kind of like a double cut Hamer that has two humbuckers in it, like an older one.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds really good. I don't even know what's in it. I have no idea what's in it, but it sounds great. And he goes, here, you play it. I want to hear this. And I go, well, yeah, can we turn it up more? Turn the attenuator off. So we're in the hotel room at the amp show, and this is the 100-watt guy. And we just dime it, like just turn it on 10 and just like hit a couple Who chords. And he's like, yes. We're like literally the walls are crumbling around us. And he always tends to like me to play through his amps, it seems, because he likes the way I attack the guitar. I have a certain way I attack it, and he knew I would play that right.
That's awesome.
I remember a long time ago at a NAMM show, he had these little tube overdrive pedals and boost pedals that he had for a little while. And I came up to the NAMM show. I go, oh, let me hear it. And he gave me that same guitar. And I kind of just played it for a minute, dialed it in, and hit a couple it kind of reminded me of the Who again. It hit a couple Who things, and really smack it like it was meant to be played. He goes, man, you're the only one that's come up and played that properly.
That's funny.
Everyone else that comes up is like,
right. Or they start just
hit it hard.
That goes back to what we were talking about with stock Marshalls earlier. How
you got to tame the beast.
Well, a lot of people don't realize how bright Marshalls really truly are.
Oh,
bright amps. I mean,
yeah, it's a bright amp, but I don't consider it
not overly bright. But like I say, man, I mean, all your breakup, all your gorgeousness is in the top end breakup of a Marshall. So you have that.
All those records you heard were that bright tone.
That's a stock Marshall. That that one right there. And an overdrive pedal.
I mean, you know, and it will scare most people.
And a lot of hair.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of
it will scare people. Especially
right.
today.
It can literally scare you if you're not used to it. That's why it's like it's such a treat sometimes to get some of the tones with some of these hotter amps, you know, yours included, because we can get great tones at such a lower. Everything's so controlled now, man. Shit sounds good at the bar. Everybody's happy.
I see.
Hear each other.
That sucks. You know, the thing is like, you know, like people post their little modeler clips and this and that, and I'm kind of like, bitch, please.
Right, yeah.
Or no, here's my modeler doing a plexi. No, that's it. That was what I meant to say. Here's my modeler doing a plexi. No. Come on.
No.
Right. Yeah, it's not even close.
I mean, okay, it's okay. You're getting a decent sound, but bitch, please turn it up and like stand. I want you to turn it up and stand in the room and try to play it. Yeah. I want you to do that, because in this day and age, no one understands how to control an amplifier anymore, because they're not playing with the volumes and the dynamics that we once did, and it's a little depressing.
They don't run the same, and they don't sound the same. There's not. If you play that amp loud,
Tom Abraham goes, Dave plays guitar like I mix. Yes, buddy. Make it exciting and ballsy, right, Tom?
That's awesome.
Rip their faces off.
Yes,
but in a pleasing way.
That's why I say I like most of the stuff, you know, but then, you know, you have those stock Marshalls. You can't, there's nothing compared to them, man. You know, they bite your face.
Well, like I said,
to them.
Like I always said, the roots of my amps come from that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the bare bones of my amps come from my 50-watt Plexi Marshall Variact on 10, dimed. And like, for instance, the BE50 amp, I can dial in a setting and you can switch in an amp switcher versus my 50-watt Marshall where you can't tell the difference.
Hmm.
And I even one day I had Pete Thorne was in here one day, and I go, hey, you got to listen to this. And I didn't tell him what he was listening to. And I'm like going, just clicking between the two, and I go, you hear any difference? He's like, wait, are you switching? So he goes, no, I really can't hear any difference.
You matched it identical.
And he's picky.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a good ear.
He kills it too. He's a cool dude. Very cool.
Oh, you know another video I saw that was interesting, Dave? I saw an Andertons video where they blindfolded chappers, and he had to tell which was the real Marshall. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
He couldn't tell.
No, he could.
Did he?
Yeah, he was able to tell right off the bat. They had a Marshall Silver Jubilee. He picked that as the Marshall. The next one was yours, which was a Run 50. I think they had combo. I think
that one. Okay.
Yeah, and then they were run. And then he actually said he goes, yeah, it's not the Marshall. It sounds more expensive and higher end. He said, you know, there was right. That's the cheaper one, right? Exactly.
Well, here's the thing that can be flawed. You know, it's like whenever you do this comparison, for one, if you're using an amp switcher, the volumes have to be like just a gnat hair that's, you know, different. Just like it can't. If the volume is different. Mm-hmm. You will be fooled. The louder one is better. Always you'll be fooled. So the volume has to be really matched. And then you got to really spend some time dialing in the tones and going back and forth to really match it up. Because, you know, with The more modern amp, you can dial the EQs, and yeah, okay, so you're listening and you're like, okay, it just needs a little more high presence. You got to have a good ear to do it. And if you dial it in properly, you should be able to. Well, if it's good, or at least one, I'm talking like one of my amps, you should be able to switch between it and just like go, yeah, no contest. I can't tell the difference.
Right.
Or you fool people, and they have to be blindfolded. They can't know which one amp is on. If they know what amp is being played, they will pick what they think is going to sound better. So it has to be completely anonymous. They don't know. Yep. And if they guess, like, you let them guess like 5 times, and you see how many times they get it right and get it wrong, because they'll guess back and forth the whole time. Now that's the real one. Nope. Okay, that's the real one. Yep, you got that right that time. Next time, nope, you got it wrong again. So, and then also you got to listen to it in a variety of kind of riffs too, because it reacts differently to how the volume rolls down on the guitar, how stuff. We get pretty crazy with this shit out here.
Right. Well,
we get. I take it a little too far at times. So.
That's what you do. It's your.
And
passion.
I've done that to a few people. They brought an amp in, and it's like, man, this amp you did, it doesn't sound like my other amp. I go, okay, bring your other amp in. Then we go on the amp switcher and switch back and forth and dial it in the same. And
they're like, I hate you.
And they can't tell, or they pick mine every single time and they like it better. And I'm like, well, obviously you like this. So you're just not dialing in improperly, and here's how it's supposed to be dialed in to match that tone. And not everyone is able to hear a tone and interpret what they're hearing and change the other amp to match it. It's an interesting thing. Not everyone hears it the same way.
Yeah.
Like they'll think, oh, it's more mid-rangey, and actually it's more scooped or something. They're not hearing it the same way, and they're turning the dials the wrong way, to match it up. And it's I think that just comes from experience and stuff.
Right.
Like,
good product too.
Yeah, but I mean, it's educating your ear sort of to what you're hearing. Actually,
it's almost like speakers. You can almost. But that's a little bit, you can almost pinpoint a Celestion in the mix. It's just got a signature tone to it.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no other speakers that sound like a Celestion to me. I've had a lot of speakers, dude. I've wished something would come along to sound better. Come on, baby.
All right.
Don't happen, man. I mean, there's some guys that make some cool stuff. Austin, what's that? Austin Speaker Works?
Oh, yeah.
They make a cool speaker,
Yeah, they make some cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and again, too, it's a little bit of a flair, but it's not quite a Celestion either, man. All those albums that you heard on the radio growing up, those were Celestions. Unless they were Fanes or, something of that nature, but a majority of them, so very signature stuff with that, man. And you can almost pinpoint it immediately, so, it's a good thing.
Cool. How you doing on time, Wade?
I'm cool. I'm just gonna get up and go take care of something real quick. I'll be back in about a minute.
Go for it.
Okay.
No problem. Hey, Dave, I saw that someone had asked, and you may have answered it before, about your pickup. About your speakers when they were coming out.
Should be at NAMM. I'm doing one final listening phase before we order them. I just want to make sure they're as good as they can be.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to come out unless they're as good as they can be. So I've lived with them for quite a while now.
Right.
And I just want to double check that everyone in my life here still loves them. So.
Gotcha. And then you
You
got
always second guess yourself. So you just got to double check and triple check and quadruple check, before you release something.
So when you're going through that process, is it you who's like held the presses? Not feeling it right now, or I want to continue.
It's just like we've had it for a long time. We just haven't placed our order.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been living it with it for a long time. So it's just I want to do one last like crazy listening test.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure. It's a really good speaker.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But you want to make sure.
I want to make sure. I won't release anything unless it's right. So that's where I'm at with it right now. So
that's cool.
To be just plain and honest about it.
And then the other pedals, the BEOD Deluxe.
The wah pedal is official release is October 5th. Oh, you need one of those too, don't you?
Yeah, I do, because I got my Fuzz Fiend. That's
you do. That's cool, huh?
Yeah, well, I've already told you I loved it ever since, George Pahone, man, was killing it out there at NAMM with that. We were all killing it in the little room, and he just tore it up, dude. Ever since I heard him play it, I was like, oh, I got to have that, man. So, yeah, that's a killer pedal. But, that's where these amps, the bigger amps, man, you're going to have to start pulling that preamp back a little bit to use. And I like it with the Marshall. It sounds real good, but I got to bring that preamp back to about, 10 o'clock. Get some of that woofiness, that ass end out of there.
That's a different, that's sort of a different style of pedal, and what you use it on is.
Yeah. That's a great pedal, dude. Really, you should be happy about that.
Yeah, I love that pedal. That's a great pedal.
I just ordered it.
It's just a weird design that's got like this little unstable little button. I love it. It's the Wade button.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I actually just ordered an Analog Man Sunface.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah, I can't wait to get it. That's a cool pedal. I picked up also a full tone Octafuzz.
That's pretty
cool.
Too.
Yeah, really cool pedal. That sounds good too. So you were going to say, Dave, what else is being released?
Octafuzz, neck pickup, volume all the way up, gain all the way down. Above the 12th fret.
Mm-hmm. But gain all the way down.
Gain all the way down, volume all the way up. Neck pickup, play above the 12th fret, single note stuff, and it's Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
It just sounds like gnarly.
Yeah.
And it gets this ring modulating sort of effect then.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know what to do with an Octafuzz. And that's what you do with it. You play it above the 12th fret, and you'll know the minute you do it. You play it above the 12th fret, single note stuff. Mm-hmm. And you can even roll your tone knob off a little bit. And it'll totally get this totally Hendrix, Hendrix ring modulating sort of octave fuzz, nasty, coolness. But the gain all the way down, the volume all the way up. Into a dirty amp.
Into a dirty amp.
Yeah.
Clean all the way up.
Yeah, you won't be able to do the volume all the way up into a clean amp. You go into a dirty amp with it.
You do it into this Fender, this deluxe reverb. Put that on 10.
Ouch.
Yes. Yeah. Serious ouch.
Deluxe reverb on 10. Ouch.
Yeah, the staple stone, man. Again, you got to have what these guys obtainable gear. You can't have $10,000 amps all the time too. So you got to set on stuff.
I have a replica of that amp. Actually,
what's that?
Of the that reverb, twin reverb that you have right there, the Fender.
A replica.
Yeah, there's a local guy here named Mike Marsh, and he does replicas of old Fender style.
It's probably amps. Made with all good parts.
It is made with all really good parts. And then the second channel, the Whatever the regular channel has is a Dumble style channel.
Wow.
So put a Dumble circuit in there, which is pretty cool.
Super headroom or what?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Unless you turn it up over 5, then it starts breaking up a little bit.
Mark, I think you need a bigger house with a man cave.
I know.
You just have to turn your garage into the man cave and park.
Well, part of my garage is where I have some cabinets and stuff, but it's just too freaking hot. It's too hot to play in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to really limited. I'm using 1,600 square feet.
I'm
running out of room, man.
The whole house is
He's in the basement.
Yeah, it's cooking down here today, man. I don't know. It's
really
humid.
hot.
Yeah, it's real humid. That's why I like coming out to California. It's like dry air, you know.
Yep.
You come out there, it's warm. It warms your bones, and you're dry. You know, you come out here and it's sweaty, humid, and hot. You can't move. You're dripping. Yeah, man. But,
yeah, welcome to Florida.
Oh yeah. I got some cats out there too, man. Where are you at?
In Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
got the guys out there in Jupiter, Florida, or near that area right there. So
yeah, it's only about an hour away, hour and a half, something like that.
Right. Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
down there, man. So
oh yeah, it's just starting to just about to get really hot.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably going to cool off. Actually, it's August, September is when it really gets hot. But I'm hoping that no hurricanes.
Yeah.
Dan Pfeiffer says, I love the Octafuzz. Yeah, it's a cool pedal. It's got a switch where, you got the Octafuzz switch and then you got the fuzz switch. What you're saying, Dave, is to put it in the Octafuzz mode and then.
Oh, wait, which one do you have? Ultimate Octave or Octafuzz?
Octafuzz.
Octafuzz, yeah. Yeah, no, in the octave mode, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's the only thing the octave is good for. Or that's the only thing that pedal's good for. The Tycho Brahe Octavia is what it is.
Right, exactly. But it also has a fuzz notch also where you can just use it as a fuzz pedal, which is cool too. I was just using it the other day to do like some Smashing Pumpkin stuff. It sounded good.
James Eha using the Double J.
Who?
James Eha, that's on tour with Smashing Pumpkins right now, is using the Double J amp.
Oh, is it?
Amp. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Zella Drive says, is the DPOD still in November?
I think so, yes.
And it was called...
I'll know better in a couple weeks. It's
BE
not called
Deluxe.
DPOD now. It's the BEOD Deluxe.
Right. All right.
I don't have the official date release for that yet. First one's the Wah. Second one is the Golden Pearl, which is a badass pedal for any amp that's already distorted and you just want a little more and really transparent and boosting it and gain. It's killer for that. That's what it was designed for. Essentially, I had a pedal. Technically, I still have a pedal. I had a pedal years ago that I did with Tone Free called the Naked OD.
I got that.
And essentially, it's a updated Naked OD. Released under our name. So it's got a few extra little switches and stuff on it that does some stuff.
I still use that pedal, dude.
It's a great pedal.
I used it, dude. It's so tore up. It still works. I don't know. It's been through a lot. I'm looking for it so I can show you. There's no paint left on it. I mean, there's some, but I use that pedal a lot. That's a great pedal, the Naked OD. That actually goes good with the brown eye. You got to roll it back though. Keep those gains down too. So a lot of times I like running that amp. The KRS that you can really rage on that too. That's got a lot of gain real quick, so you can pull that amp back as well.
All right, we got a question for you, Wade.
Yay!
David Suzuki says, "What's good humbuckers for thickening and beefing up a thin, ice picky sounding guitar?" He's asked this like 3 times. So,
well, it would depend on what guitar it was in the woods, but right off the bat, the Afueyu would be a hot replacement that's going to thicken things up and make it where you want it to be. The second one I would go to is if you don't like your pickups that hot, you like maybe a vintage hot, go with the Detroiter. That's going to give you a little bit of body. The second degree will give you some body too as well, but it's not going to have the heat that the Detroiter has. So if you're looking for a little extra push too, go with that Detroiter or the Afueyu for sure. Without knowing your instrument or the woods or basswood, mahogany, things like that, it's, we're taking a big guess. So not a big guess, but an educated guess. And with your help, we can zone you in on something that you like, man.
All right. Nick Mars wants to know if you'll ever re-release the Naked Amp, Dave.
I just answered him.
Oh,
I've done some custom ones recently for people.
There's been a lot of demand for that.
Custom ones with more features than the original one ever had. So there's like a boost circuit that boosts it further, and there's a full clean channel, and so we can do it custom out of the custom shop. Just email me if you're interested in that. FriedmanAmps@gmail.com.
All right. Islander Winder, question for Wade about pickup winding for high output humbuckers, high turns per layer or low?
For a high humbucker, well, I would say I would go with a low turn count, man, because you're going to want to bring in a little bit more top end. So if you're using a hot output pickup, let's go with a 20K pickup that you're probably not making and that you want to make. That's going to take a wire of like 44 or 45 gauge even. So the thinner the wire, the less highs you're going to get. So in order to get to that higher resistance reading, you're going to need thinner wire, and you're going to suffer in the top end department drastically if you don't replace it somehow. So keep those turn counts low.
Okay.
With the thinner wire. So you want to get over 18, 19K, keep your turn count low.
Jesus Christ, why?
Yeah, I know. Hey, but he'll figure it out real quick because I'm not bull crap.
Nothing past 16.
Well, remember, I did a couple novelty things with like what's that guy?
Yes, I remember.
Pickup stuff. I forgot his name. It is coming to me. JB, James Lugo. That's him.
Oh, James Lugo.
Right, yeah. He did some pickup stuff years and years ago. I sent out a few pickups, and one of them was a novelty. And, it was loose in the low end, this and that. It's like, dude, it's just a novelty to see how you like it. Who makes a 28K pick? I don't know how hot it was. It was the hottest pickup in the world at that time. And it wasn't like, I just said, hey, man, well, go ahead and throw this in there, too. I just kind of, fooled around with that. And he was like, oh, we really don't like that too much. And I was like, well, dude, it's just a novelty type of thing. I wasn't there to knock him out,
All right. Here's something that maybe I'll answer, but Wade can answer, too. Dave Suzuki says, sorry, guys, one last question. Please ask Wade, what pickup height does he recommend for a bridge humbucker and a neck humbucker? Well, my answer to that would be it depends on the pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Honestly, you should just listen. And it depends on a lot of things about the pickup. I mean, not just the heat of the pickup, but it depends on the sonic character of the pickup and what you want to hear in the end. Do you want to hear it a little duller than it is? You might want it a little lower. Do you want to hear it with a little brighter? You might want to hear it higher. And depending on also the magnetic pull or the magnet strength you have, will also dictate the height of the pickup. There's no like a magic height that is like the perfect height for everything. It's like
You can get some guidelines though with a few pickups, like the neck pickups. Usually you're going to roll that neck pickup right about 3/64 or about a millimeter less than what you have on the bridge pickup. Yeah. And again, like David already said, with the magnet being having a little bit more pull, how hot the pickup is, all that takes into play. And again, use your ear the best. But normally, just as a starting point for you to zero in and bring your pickup to where you like it, set that neck pickup 1 millimeter or 3/64 lower than your bridge pickup to start. That's going to get you really close. And if it's so far whacked to where you got to lower it into the wood, then you need another neck pickup that isn't as strong and doesn't have that output. So, and again, also what Dave said too about the magnet, the strength, how hot it is, things like that. Then are all things to take into consideration, but with everything equal, my normal recommendation will be a millimeter lower or 3/64. We're playing around with the English metric system. So, I'm waiting for it. Come on, change metric. It's not happening. But right there, I'll give you a great starting point to zero in on where you need to be with the pickups in general. So hopefully that'll help you a little bit, buddy.
Okay.
Someone else said, hang on. Where was it? I lost it. Oh, here we go. Would the second degree black belt work in the bridge of a Les Paul for late 70s rock?
Of course.
Of course. Or am I looking at the black belt? Well, that could work too.
Well, for late 70s classic rock where that's all you're going to be playing, I'd go with the black belt for sure. Either or, but with the second degree, you're going to always have that option of going on a harder level, maybe bumping up in the 80s and doing some Van Halen stuff too. So it's just a really cool pickup. They both have different flavors, so
They're both good.
Hard. They're very hard.
Buy both.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have two guitars, if you have two guitars, then there you go.
And I know you got friends.
Buy both.
Right. Yes. Thank you, though. Thank you. So,
what was the guy here?
Yeah, I'm looking to see. Oh, there was a question. Chris asked me, "Did you get the bias knob on your sun face?" Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's a good way to go.
Yeah, I got that, and I got an LED on it, and yeah, I went all out. It's a cool pedal.
Here's a good one. Justin Espinoza. Best way to balance a hum single configuration, basswood, maple top, maple neck. Well, balance as in volume. Well, first of all, what are your pickups? Right. I mean, like if you got a JB in the bridge and you got vintage single coils in the rest, good luck balancing. Not really going to happen. If you have a more PAF-y kind of pickup, you can generally balance it. Best way, take a listen into a clean amp and try to adjust the pickup heights so they kind of match. The humbucker is always a little bit beefier, It's always than the single coils. So,
yeah, and you lose a little bit with. You'll notice when you run HSSs or the SSH configuration, you lose a little bit of that beautiful sparkle that you get with those single coils. So it's also a learning process, man.
Why do you lose it?
Well, the humbucker, you instantly know that you've gained body, and it immediately gets darker. Immediately. Yeah. I mean,
depending on the pickup.
Right. And in contrast to balancing those tones, that's going to be matching that bridge pickup with the neck pickup appropriately.
Like the second degree does really well with that because it's a bright pickup. It's not that high output, and you can generally adjust it with the single coils where it kind of balances nicely.
Yeah, exactly. So, and again, too, how in pots are another thing. If you're going to go with two volumes in one tone, now that's another configuration you can work with of isolating your humbucker by itself, and then getting some other lower value pots for the single coils to bring those down. Those are going to want to see 250. Your humbucker is going to hit a 500K. So a lot of times if you go double volume, one tone, you know, that could help you about a bit too. You know, sky's the limit, man. You got to be ingenuitive with these things and zone them in. But we'll give you the great tone, and you know, without a, you know, I can't be there, and I don't know how you're running your cables and stuff, and what's soaking up what, things like that. So, you know, it takes a little bit, but start off with some good pickups. Like I say, you know, who buys a Ferrari and puts on Kmart tires? You know, so. Don't go out and buy a $3,000 guitar and put in a $50 GFS pickup. I mean, some guys do that. You know, they might like that. You know, some, but
okay. So
hopefully that helps you a little bit, man.
Yeah.
All right. Couple questions I got here. Bill Strange, George Lynch Plexi is amazing live. Dave, what did you do to it in servicing the amp with the SD 3000 delays? It's a stock super lead spec 50-watt Plexi Marshall. So it's really just dialed in to be a super lead spec Plexi Marshall. Not all 50-watt Marshalls are like super lead specs. So it's the bright, jangly, in your face, you know, Van Halen-esque ballsy Marshall, you know, and it just cranked on 10. And he feeds into a dry cabinet. He feeds a line out into a couple SD 3000 delays, into a Matrix power amp, into a couple other cabinets, and it sounds like God. There you go. And then another question, Wade's, what's the closest thing to Jerry Cantrell's picks that you retail for Bridge Les Paul? Well, I'll even answer that. That's a second-degree black belt.
What do you say?
He's like, what's the closest thing you retail pickup-wise for a Les Paul for the Jerry Cantrell thing? I go, well, it's a second-degree black belt.
Yeah.
That's what's in Jerry's Les Paul. So there you go. Simple.
Thank you for the questions. Appreciate it. Really like
and then Mark Suzuki goes, doesn't Jerry use the Afwayu in his Rampage G&L guitars?
Yeah.
Answer that. Kind of, right?
Yes, kind of. You know,
some of them might have the Afwayu.
Absolutely, I'm sure they do, because some of them have the Afwayu. You know, we did an off spin of a custom pickup. Jerry's got so much custom stuff though, so you know, I've kept great records, like I said, things like that. But that's last pickup that I did with him, and I put it in myself too. He really enjoys, I guess. So that's a little. It's based off of the Afwayu. It's super close, but again, it's just getting that zoning in on what, you know, Jerry likes as an artist too, and tightening things up over time. So this has been this is it. It's nice. It's a great pickup. So, and it's very close to the Afwayu. It's just a little. I believe it's a little more aggressive and darker in color. How dare I? Dark, no. But you know, again, too, you know, for what he has and how he's doing, the cables he's using.
Well, there's a couple eras. There's a couple of eras of Afwayus too, right? The early ones, you changed something. I remember.
Not so much, so.
Changed something. I can't remember what it was. It might have been magnet or something.
No, just, you know, I'm always struggling because I have such a high standard for the wire. That's my main thing. I've always locked in on the coil winding as my main, you know.
No, I had an original set. I remember in a guitar, and then you sent me another set of Afwayus with something different, and I don't remember what it was.
I might have just did that one for you, though. That was different.
I don't know. I thought you said
it's been like that for a long time, man.
It goes back a while, buddy.
I don't change it when
this goes back a while.
Dave going, hey, don't change a thing. Okay, dude, I'm not gonna change nothing, man. So, yeah, I probably did something for you custom. Dude, you probably got more custom stuff than Jerry. So I don't know. Yeah.
What about, hey, let's go. Touch on one or a couple other things. There's a new version of a hothead, right?
A new version of the hothead?
Well, this is Sammy's hothead. They're different than Mark Day's hotheads.
Slightly. Yes, slightly different than Mark Day's. But that pickup, let me tell you about Sammy Bowler. Comes by here talking about, hey, wait, I need this pickup, though. This one sounds real good. Can you put it in my guitar for me? I was like, yeah, well, it's going to take a few. Well, I thought maybe you'd do it while I played guitar. What? So somehow this kid talked me into putting this pickup in his guitar, and buddy, he rocked it. So it was a good day. Sammy, yeah, but Sammy's, that pickup came from my guitar, and it was the final version. Like, I'm just, at some point you have to call it. I think there's been 20, probably close to 30 different versions of that pickup before I settled on this last one.
Right.
And it wasn't too far from Mark Day's pickup. So it's like I did all this work in between, but I got here, and this is where I needed to be with that pickup, and it finally came around.
So too hot for me. Too hot.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, no, I don't like hot pickups.
It's open. It's very organic, and it's like a hot PAF, dude.
Yeah, but what is it? Isn't it like some crazy fucking
15K or something? I don't know.
How hot is it?
Yeah, it's like 15K, 14.8, 14.9, 15, 15.2 even. Yeah, I think it's 15.2. I don't know.
It's like a JB.
No, JBs are a little bit hotter. The earlier ones, there's a lot of speculation with that too, and you can never get any information out of them through the source, through Duncan. They insist that the JBs never changed.
No, well, the wine pattern has never changed, but the bobbins have changed. The magnet has changed. The suppliers have changed over the years.
Right.
So the wine pattern has never changed, but originally it was butyrate bobbins. It's not now. And then there was a couple versions of bobbins different over the years. The magnet supplier had changed, so there's stuff affecting that. There's basically, if you want like an old one, you have to get MJ to wind you one.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. You got to get her to hand wind you one, like an old one with the butyrate bobbins and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Well, in the hot.
I'm gonna go visit her.
Yeah, you need to get those tamales.
I want to try those tamales. I want to go visit her.
Yeah, you should take a ride.
I want to take her in my vintage JB, and she can, which she made in the 80s, and nice. She's got to repot it. So
how hot is that one then? Is it right? Because there's two different readings too with
like
those.
16.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, right in that area. I think they all generally are, and I think the people that are out there saying they have a couple that are, at 14.5 or something are full of crap.
I don't know. I've never seen one. Maybe 15.8, maybe, or 16.2. But like it depends on also when you measure it. How cold is it? How hot is it?
Not 14.5 though.
Right.
That's serious. That's a completely different pickup at that
I've never seen one measure that, and I have two old ones.
That's that snake oil, man.
Yeah. I got two old ones. They sound really good.
Yeah, I like the JB. I used to play a JB jazz combo back in the day, years ago.
That was the classic rock pickup.
Yeah.
That was like the 80s rock pickup.
Yeah, it's weird because I went from that to like a EMG 89 in the bridge and an 81 in the neck, which at 89 is the 85 that you can split together. It's got the red letters on there. And then I went back to No, actually, and then I went from that to a DiMarzio, and then I left everything and just went back to building pickups. I've been building pickups for a long time, you know, so, but not on a level of like business, you know what I mean? Of like steady, I guess, employment, if you want to call it that. I just call it like a permanent vacation because I love making pickups. I love it.
That's what we normally, we didn't do it this time, but this is what we normally ask. How did you start?
Oh yeah.
How did I start?
Do like a quick synopsis of how you start. Like, when did you start making pickups?
Dude, I started when I was a kid, though, man. Like way back, because of necessity of a broken pickup. My dad's My dad's an electrical engineer. He worked at the powerhouse at Ford, so he knows his biz. You know what I mean? With electronics and stuff. And this guy John was playing my guitar. I had like a Charvel wannabe guitar, man. I bought it from Scanlon Music. You know where Scanlon was back at the time. Remember Rick Craig, little scarecrow looking dude.
Yep.
Long hair, scraggly hair. I got it off of him. So, yeah, man. And like, I didn't have the guitar maybe 3 days, and my buddy had caught it under the bobbin, and that was it. The only thing that worked was the neck pickup, and I was like 15 at the time. So that guitar my dad ended up fixing it, but he couldn't get the wire for it. But he had, he's just canceled out that other coil and said, well, it'll work. It doesn't sound the same though. So I'll bring some wire home and we'll fix that and get that going. And at the time, man, you could actually buy 42 gauge. I think it was called like Anaconda wire or something like that from, Radio Shack and stuff, you know. So, you had access. Plus, he was in the tool crib at work all the time. He was an engineer for the powerhouse. So, just got into that, and nothing ever happened with that pickup after it was repaired. I actually don't even know if we actually truly repaired it, but some time went by. And then I was in another place, and I seen them making some transformers and stuff at the, they call it the powerhouse plant. No, I'm sorry, it's the Pole Town out in Hamtramck, when they set up this new GM power plant out in Hamtramck called Pole Town. They were making and winding the transformers out there back in the 80s. This back in like, this is the first time I ever seen coils wound, you know what I mean? But this was on a big level. You're talking about on a table this big with the wires that were about like, cable size, man. But they were making big transformers for the plant and stuff. They made a lot of stuff. It was real cool. So, and that always kind of stuck with me. And I thought, wow, and then years later, the pickup failed, and that was the same principle behind the transformer, and everything, is kind of explained to me that way, like, hey, it's the same way, it's the same process, just on a different thing, So, and then again, it wasn't years until after that, I got about 17, 18 years old, I started making and dabbling in with some other pickups and stuff, left guitar playing, left all that stuff, dude. Women or girls and booze was important at that time. No, you know what
priorities,
I mean?
Man. Yeah, priorities.
That's what's important. You had priorities, and that's what counted. And we didn't come back to pickup winding for a long time. Probably in my mid 20s, I started making and doing a lot of like guitar repairs and stuff for like all these crazy punk bands around here, all kinds of people, dude. I used to be like, get it done. You give it to Wade, he'll get it done and have your stuff back in a few days, So, and I was real happy, man. I was making like killer money, man, making guitars, putting in pickups, changing pots. It's like super easy stuff, and making like cash. I love it. So, and it was super easy work, and I just, but at that time too, I was like teaching karate and doing construction, dude. I used to wake up at 6 a.m, 6 to 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I couldn't even open up my hands. And then we would go to the dojo and work out and train until like 9 o'clock. And then I'd go home and like eat and go to bed and do it all over again. You know, I had kids, man. So, you know, my oldest is like 24. I don't know why I'm asking Dave. He would know more than I. Yeah, he's going to be kicking 24, 25, man. But, you know, so I had priorities. So, you know, and it surely wasn't guitar playing at that time. I mean, you know, I always play guitar. So
my oldest is 25 or 6 now.
Yeah, yeah, right. And then, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, well, a couple years after you. So, you know, it wasn't. I always played guitar and stuff, and was in bands and stuff like that.
25. Let's not age her.
Yeah, let's not age us, man. Come on now.
Oh, but wait, she'll be 26 this month. So
you keep going, dude. You keep going up and up, man. But yeah, I did not come back to it for a while, and then when I did, I really, you know, got a niche with like a couple cats around here. This dude, Chris White, I was taking, you know, not lessons, but just hanging out. He was a real asshole too. He's like, you know, anytime you messed up a pentatonic, oh, you're supposed to invert that pentatonic. You're supposed to, you know, he was like a Johnny Winter wannabe. So he was just killing all these inverted pentatonic riffs at lightning speed. And if you messed up, he would just let you have it. He said, you know, he's dead now, but, no, I didn't kill him, I swear.
Okay.
But you know, I used to make like pickups and like, you know, these, and he was the guy that like guys that wanted in GIT and all these really big prestigious colleges that they'd send you all this music theory stuff. They're like, hey, fill this stuff out, send it back. You know, if you pass your test or what your written test, he would do your test for you and charge you like $200 and, you know, all this old school stuff, man. That's before my time. So, but I'd make him a pickup and he loved it, man. And he was like, you know, the hardest dude to please, man. Like no matter what. And he loved it. And then like I made a couple more pickups for a couple other dudes that were in these country bands. And again, I wouldn't see them for years. And then they pop up like, hey, dude, I need to talk to you. Can you work on my guitar? Can you do this? And I'm going to need that tomorrow by 3. So, hey, well, you got money on. That's about how much I need. I'll get it done. So that was it, man. And then my buddy Rob, you know, I was winding up some pickups and he said, dude, you know what? I didn't even have the internet. This was back in like 2005. I didn't even have the internet at my house. Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. About 2004, 2005. I had a computer. No, I take it back. I had a computer. It was a piece of junk. I could never get online with it. And at that time you had dial up. So, I used to have to go to the library and do my emails when I first had started Motor City on MySpace. I didn't even know about Facebook. I didn't even know about this stuff. And Dave's like, "Yeah, man, you need a computer, man. You need a cell phone. You need to get this shit together, bud." And I was like, all right. But and my buddy Rob was like, "Dude, look, man." And I was working painting for him at the time. He's like, dude, you should just get a .com. I was like, what's a .com? He's like, dude, you got to come by. I'm going to have to show you this shit. So, yeah, it came off from just a buddy going, hey, man. And at that time, I was working construction, busting hump. And this was like almost 15 years ago. So, you know, a little bit over that, about 18 years. I don't know. Yeah. But and I remember, and then I finally went down and filed for my DBA permit, doing business as, and then my very first check though was really cool, and that was off of MySpace. It was a guy named Roger Lair. He plays in this band called Moxie now, but he was a guitar player for the band Ugly Kid Joe. Yeah, you know, I Hate Everything About You. Yeah, they used to play the hell out of that stuff, man, over here on riff and stuff back in the day when we had some great radio channels. You know them. But yeah, that was my first check. I'll never forget that. And that was my first check I got. And you know, and he had a little bit of recognition, and I thought how awkward that was because I had just put that up on MySpace, and it was a matter of like a week, and somebody had bought something. You know, this was, like I said, it was quite some time ago, man. And Dave was like, you don't know what Facebook is? I remember him and at that time, you and Dina had just started dating. Dave was like, I'm marrying her. I was like, all right, dude. Oh, okay. Out of the blue, dude's like, dude, I'm marrying her. I was like, oh, shit. Okay. It was cool, though. Yeah, and I didn't know what Facebook was or anything, man.
Yeah, how long we've been together now?
Yeah,
we've been married 8 years.
Yeah, and I was there for that too.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, where's old Jim Seaball? Is he still kicking?
He's still kicking. He's alive. He had a couple of heart attacks, but he's alive.
No, oh my goodness, I totally didn't mean that. Are you serious?
Oh yeah,
I didn't mean it like that. I did not know that you had.
No, he's doing really good now. He's doing great
Jim,
now.
you know I love you, dude.
No, Jim had a heart attack, and then I don't know all the details exactly, but he had a heart attack, and then they got him on some of these meds that he was allergic to.
Oh.
Right.
And then he was having all these issues and crap, and he was like pretty much like on his deathbed pretty much. And it turned out it had to do with his medication, which he later figured out. And once they got away from that medication, then he started improving. Then he had another like little one, but he got that in check. So he caught that early. So he's doing good. He's like healthy. He's good.
That's good. I didn't mean it like that, Jim.
No.
That, dude.
Yeah, he's good.
I was just, I came my first trip out there. Dave, this was before he got involved with Tone Merchant. So Tone Merchant was down in Anaheim.
Right.
So that was when you had a big party out there with Steve Stevens. Pete Thorne played with Steve that night. Steve Matucci threw his drink all over Rob's old lady.
Yeah, Rob was
That's
happy.
A good night, dude. Good time, man. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Steve will like that one. Little Matucci.
Sam Cartwright's been asking this question, so he wants to know. Please ask Wade which pickup for the Brown sound.
Second degree.
That's the second degree all the way. I mean, there's a few that get it, but you're going to get it really good with that one. That one's going to be the money maker. If there was a way I could put a pickup in Eddie's guitar, I'd probably put that one in there right away. That'd be the pickup I'd go for, bro. Really, man. So.
And then just underneath that, we had Vintage Sounds. How's the new pickups from Fishman, Wade?
Which ones?
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Not familiar.
The Fluence pickups.
Oh, the Florence Humbucker pickups?
The Fluence Humbucker pickups, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard they were pretty good. I've only played them maybe.
They're pretty decent. They're pretty cool. Some of the models are better than others, yeah. Well, here's something. Steve Stevens liked them. So he's pretty picky about pickups. So it was good. Right.
Yeah. I'm not. I try to play a lot of pickups anytime that anybody brings any other guitars around or anything. I don't do any repairs or anything anymore, other than like maybe something I haven't, unless it's a long-standing customer or something like that. Because it's just
for like Sammy.
Yeah, Sammy. Sammy would just take my pickups, man. I don't know why he just didn't take my guitar. I mean, the kid does what he wants to do, so. He does too.
Oh, he's that good, so he can do it.
Well, he's you know what though? He's got a maturity level, and his mama raised him good, man.
Absolutely.
But, so hats off to his mom for raising him, and he's a good little.
I often think when I'm hanging out with him, I go, dude, you could be my son.
Well, he's half your age, right?
At least 25, I think.
Mhm.
So he's
Get
the
a
same
little
age.
sparkle in his
My
eye,
oldest
did he,
daughter.
Dave?
Same age as my oldest daughter.
Oh wow, yeah. I thought he was right. I try not to get too concerned with that. He's a young buck.
He's a little baby.
Yeah. I didn't know it, but I've seen some of his stuff, man. Before he had any peach fuzz on his chin, too, man. I was surprised about that. It's like, dude, wow. He's been cutting some video for a long time, playing some.
Oh, he's
guitar.
talented.
Yeah, he's playing some badass stuff.
He did a video. There's a video of him. That's just one where he's got peach fuzz, with Randy Rhodes, man.
Yes, I just watched that recently. He was very young.
Old video, very young.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he might have only been 15, 16 years old when he did that too.
Yeah,
so
he looked like a kid.
But the structure and the way that he was playing it was really there's a lot of bands and a lot of players, man. That's and then you have a handful of people that's just like these like little secret vibratos and these great little picking techniques and things like that. That's kind of like Steve Stevens, man. I mean, you listen to that album, his last solo album, it doesn't sound like a guitar album. You don't get bored listening to that. That's the best, dude. It's one of the best guitar albums that I've heard in a long time. And he came out with that 5 years ago almost or something. I don't even know. But it's
longer than that ago now.
Really? Yeah. So I guess he would probably be due for another solo album soon. That would be real cool. But I really enjoyed that album. And that's, players like that, like Steve and like Sammy's got a little magic in them. There's a couple guys around town. The sky's the limit. And Detroit is just loaded. Ask Dave. He'll tell you. There's loaded with musicians and loaded with stuff. So there's always great bands that you can see here on any given night. I used to see Jim McCarty from Cactus. I used to see him play on Wednesday night down at the New Way Bar and Grill in Ferndale. 30 people in there. And as soon as Wen got out that Jim was playing there every Wednesday or every other Wednesday, the place would pack up. But that's a really good place to see a phenomenal blues artist do his thing. His son's in a great band called Stellar Drive. He's a great drummer around town. So there's a lot of stuff going around. You just got to catch it. Dave knows. I'm trying to get him back here. He won't come back though. Too cold for him.
I have not said that.
I don't know. You've said that a few times. I don't like the cold.
No, I haven't.
Are you sure?
I like it there. I don't have an issue with it.
Nah. Well, you might
never know. You might be back.
Yeah, I will. 5 more years, Dave. You'll be here. You're gonna retire out here. $500,000 home, just living it up.
I don't want to spend that much.
Oh crap! Your payments would be nothing.
I don't want to spend. I want to pay a $200,000 home.
Yeah, you want a $500,000 home for $2,000.
You know what I can get for $200,000 out here? I can get a porch.
Right.
You get a porch with a fence.
A metal, like a square, 3x4 porch. That's what's $200,000 here.
With a fence, so nobody else can have it.
Okay, with a fence.
Yeah, well, I've been looking.
The average home price in my neighborhood is $900,000.
Yeah.
And that is for a unupdated 1947 built 1,000 or 1,100 square foot house, no basement with a garage.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna pass on that, man. Yeah, dude, that's just too small a quarters, dude. I'm sorry. That's why
Okay, maybe for 900,000 it might be updated, but whatever.
That's still small for 1,100 square feet.
1,200 square feet, something like that. No basement, no nothing.
Wow.
Well, I'm trying to upgrade. I'm in the process of moving.
I'm okay with that size. I'm just not okay with the price.
Well, I told you I'm looking for land.
See, I don't want a big house. If I move again, I want a small house. I don't want the upkeep. We don't use it.
Right.
I mean, we literally, it's like you use the kitchen, your bedroom, your bathroom, and your living room, and that's it. There's no other use of any other parts of the house. The kids' room, of course, but like
the
there's a whole
room.
Not really. It doesn't get used.
Right.
I have a front living room that was an old part of the house, and there was a den in the back that's a living room. So the front doesn't get used at all. Mm-hmm. So it's just you walk through it. so I'm like, yeah, don't really need much.
Well, I've been in the process for a few now. I'm looking to move out a little, get out of the city a little bit because I'm right here in the jungle. So, but yeah, for $200,000, dude, you can be set up out here. You can probably have a couple.
What's your house worth now, though?
Who's mine?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Right here, probably 150 now.
Right.
So I mean, and that ain't squat because I didn't pay squat for it, but
Yeah.
I told you I was looking at a 20-acre parcel for $148,000 with a 3-bedroom home on it. I wouldn't even buy it because it didn't have a basement. But I got a different one. I got less land. So this one had 5 acres of land, 3-bedroom house on there with a basement. But you had, only 5 acres. But on that 5 acres, the outside of your property, they had ATV trails. In the middle of the property, you had a gun range, and you had a natural spring pond on there.
All right, well, that sounds good.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, at any given time, man, I might have to pack this stuff up and go. So, you might be coming out to Wade's farm, I'm trying to stay about 20, 25 minutes away from, like, the major city. So, like a 25-minute cruise on the highway,
Yeah, that's not bad.
Doing 110, you can cover about, 60 square miles. So, yeah, right in that area.
That's the normal speed limit on Detroit freeways.
Yeah, about 110, 120. So yeah,
we're really not kidding. By the way.
Well, hey man, I try to tell people, they don't want to listen though. So, but yeah, man,
you're getting on a freeway. It's maybe 70 miles an hour is the actual speed limit, and everyone is doing 85 at least, maybe 90. And you're like, holy crap, what's going on? No one gets pulled over.
And listen, they're all pissed at you.
Because you're in the way.
You're getting on the freeway at 70. How dare you? You're holding stuff up, dude. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Hey, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting pretty tired. It's getting late. It's past my bedtime. I'm just kidding. It's 12:18 here. So let's see if we got any other remaining questions before we wrap up. The EJR, what's the water, power, and sewer like though in California?
You want to know? Here, I'll give you. Here, let me give you an example. I can give you an example. That's where you get fucked again. So DWP is the power people. And we at our house like to run our air. Well, it's hot here all the time, pretty much. So we like to run our air conditioning all the time, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
We like it cold in the house. That's just the way it is, and we're willing to pay for it, obviously. Mm-hmm. But the other problem that comes with California houses is they're not insulated.
Oh, geez.
There's no insulation. 1947 house has no insulation in the walls. So the outside of the house is, well, it's reasonably insulated from what it's made of because the outside of the house is made of gunite. It's not stucco. It's what they make pools out of. It's like hard-ass cement. So the outside of the house is that. You can't even put a sledgehammer through the side of it. It's, you bounce off. So it's made of gunite. That was what it was done back in that time. And then the inside of the wall in the house I have are plaster, actually. So, but there's no insulation. And all the doors, you can see like light under the door and this and that. You know, it's like it's not insulated. It's like not. It's useless.
So you're just
so all your air is just seeping out.
Right.
So, and then also they got you for water and sewer. You know, water, sewer, and trash all on the same bill, and they bill you every 2 months.
Wow.
Which is worse, even that. So
Why? That's crazy.
They just bill you every 2 months. I have no idea why. This is no other place, just DWP in where we're at. Huh. So to run the air conditioning midsummer when it's 100 degrees outside and to keep it cold in the house, my power bill for 2 months, this last power bill that I just paid 2 days ago, was $2,300.
Holy
Get the fuck! Holy shit!
$2,300.
65?
Now, no,
dude,
like 71. But
wow.
Oh, that ain't
now.
What?
Now hold on a minute. That's tier 3 power. So when I moved into this house, and that's water, power, everything, right? For 2 months. 2 months. So when I moved into this house, it was, and that was 8 years ago, that same bill in that same month was $600 less.
Jesus.
The rates have gone up. The usage hasn't changed. I looked it up. I looked at the bills.
Because they show you comparisons.
The rates have gone up $600 in 8 years.
That's insane.
So, and 1,700 was horrible at the time.
Yeah, that's still crazy.
So the lowest the power ever gets is around $1,000 for 2 months. So
damn.
Wow.
Of course, our gas bill is $40. Well, and there's no gas. No gas.
Except for heat.
Those are like $300.
Yeah, no, I understand. So not only do you pay a ton for rent, which I rent this house, and I have a great deal on it, but anyway, I rent this house. But then they just kill you. The uninsulated homes kill you on the power. If I have the condo I used to have, the most the power bill ever got was $300.
Wow.
So
yeah, like
running the air the same, you know.
I run my air especially here in South Florida, right? So we keep the house. Yeah, especially at night, it's down at like 71. During the day, it's like 75. You know.
Yeah.
But my electric bill is like $400 or $500 a month.
Okay, so $500 a month, let's say, in the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. So it's like $1,000. Yeah.
Every other month.
My utility bill at my office here, which runs the air all the time, and it's not really much more insulated, is only $500 a month. Right?
Oh shit!
So
wow,
it's savage.
That is. That's
it's
crazy.
just savage. I mean, like, you know, it almost makes you want to like. Has not, you know, someone said converted to LED. It has nothing to do with the lights. It has nothing to do with the lights, man. It's all about the AC.
Yeah.
And the power, you know, the water is like $300 or something.
Sewage is more than what you use for
$350 a month is that. So, or 350 for every 2 months or something. Maybe 400.
Absurd.
But that's watering the lawn and that's filling the pool, and you know, I have a pool and the pool motor, and you know. But so do you.
Pete says you're savage. Savage, I tell you.
It's
savage. It sounds like the power department is savage.
Luckily, my house is about $1,000 under market value, so it kind of might average out.
Wow.
But I would hate to pay what market value is on the house, because then oh my God, no.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They come back to Detroit, man. You save all that money, You and your family up in a $250,000 home, get you a little
know.
property, get you.
If I come back to Detroit, I'm living in Royal Oak.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Oh, wow, that's cool.
I want
like
a
Royal
small house in Royal Oak. I'll pay $200,000 for it, and I'll pay it off in 5 years.
And you'll be driveway to driveway, though.
Huh?
You'll be driveway to driveway.
Yeah, but I don't care about that.
Yeah, well, yeah, you like the city. I need a little space. So
You're driveway to driveway right now.
yeah, I know, and I'm blasting out of the side of the house. I got gear coming out of my butt, man. I need to get out of here. You know? But yeah, man, you got.
Hey, Pete Thorne's in the chat.
Pete. We're just
That's
talking
what I
about.
was laughing about.
Wait, Pete, are you in Germany?
Wow.
I think he was. I traveled 20 hours to Germany.
Someone said Chris said Pete Thorne showed up. The show must go for another hour at least. No.
It can't. He wrote, I traveled 20 hours to Germany. They went for Persian food, slept 3 hours. Now I'm up. That's savage.
It is.
Is
That's rough. Did you sleep on the plane? 20 hours. Fuck.
Yeah.
How many stops did you have?
Like when you're in California to go to Germany, I guess you don't go the opposite way, right? So you have to go to the East Coast and then over to Germany?
No, you don't have to.
So then what? You go through Asia?
You can, but still the flight to Germany is only like 9 hours or 10 hours. So where's your extra 10 hours come in?
I don't know. He said I slept maybe, I don't know, like 4 hours split over 2 planes. Maybe he had a layover. Oh, that sucks. Oh, he flew to London, then layover.
Oh, my God. No direct to Frankfurt?
Oh.
That's brutal.
That's brutal, dude.
Yeah.
Pete, let's do the studio. We're good.
Had to recheck bags at a different terminal, etc. Who booked your shit?
Who booked that? They totally screwed you on that one.
Oh, that sucks. Going the cheap route. Hopefully not, but wow.
Must have been.
Yeah, get some sleep, man. Hope the clinics go well for you, by the way.
That's a great album too, Pete.
Oh, his new album's great.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic. I was watching his video where he was doing the track for a solo. And then his recent video where he did a pedal review for the Rev pedals. That sounded badass with that drummer.
Yeah, he does good videos. I like his stuff. It's real crisp, always very clean and, to the point too. It's just no fooling. It just gets right to it.
Yep.
Cool,
yeah, always good stuff. Well, I don't see any other questions for Wade. I think we're good. And let's see. Pete said I sent too many messages that told me to stop. Thanks, guys. Glad you like the album. Thanks, y'all. Hey, man. You have a good night, Pete. We're just wrapping things up. So, Wade, it was awesome to have you on. Thanks for all your great stories and to tell us about your pickups and everything. I'm gonna have to order some.
Yes, and again, thank you, Dave and Mark, for having me on. That was very, very nice of you. Very humbled. So, and everybody that tuned in tonight for their questions and stuff. That's very, very cool. I had a great time. It was very, very fun. I appreciate
How does everyone contact you if they want to contact you for pickups?
You contact me at motorcitypickups@yahoo.com, or you can email me at motorcitypickups@yahoo.com. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to say motorcitypickups.com. You can hit me through emails. I have a mail page up there, or direct at motorcitypickups@yahoo.com. Or you can reach me at Facebook or at Instagram, right? Or is it Twitter?
Instagram, I see.
Dave, what am I on again?
I don't know.
I gotta ask my friends what I'm on. I don't know. No, it's on Facebook and Instagram. So you can reach me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, for sure. Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, definitely reach out to Wade for pickups, man. I hear great things. So
good stuff. You need some, Mark.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, I got some stuff for you too, and I'm going to be coming out to NAM. You know that, right?
Okay, great. No, I didn't know.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm going to be coming. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's been a while, but just to let you know ahead of time, so get me on the list.
Okay, well, remind me because I gotta get.
I know,
past
but
this.
I'm coming in early. I'm letting you know now. I got my time in. My tickets are good.
Yeah, just because you're telling me now doesn't mean I'm remembering. Like in tomorrow.
I know. But again, thank you so very much. It's been very, very nice.
Haha, Dan Pfeiffer said, "What's your MySpace?"
Oh, is that what I said?
Yeah. No. But I think he's just joking.
Yeah.
I don't need it. It's not there anymore.
It's not there anymore. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
MySpace.
gone.
That's so funny.
Is MySpace still around?
No.
No, it's gone. I think it's gone. Yeah. That's funny. Well, hang on, Wade, while I hang up with everybody. But everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for watching the show. We'll be back. I think our next show isn't our next show. You told me, Dave.
I don't know what it is.
You said it was the 17th. Wasn't it the 17th?
Oh yeah, no, we want to do the 17th with Tom Abraham. Tom, are you still listening?
Oh.
So I don't know if he's confirmed for me, but yes.
Okay.
I think it might be that. Maybe possibly so.
Yep. Okay. And that's possible. And then we also have Bad Cat Amps who are going to be coming on soon too as well.
Yep.
So guys, stay tuned. Have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
All right.